Yep. All right. Hey, look at that. Evan's back, everybody.
Killing these intros. We're back, and I'm super excited. We took 1 week off. I was in Japan, and now we're here. Post Star Wars Celebration. Post Star Wars Celebration, and last week Daredevil was 2 weeks ago now, right? Or was it just last week? Am I going crazy?
It was last week, as you were heading to Japan.
Whoa. Yeah, I was saying to Japan. So we have Daredevil to cover, and then we have the first 2 episodes of The Last of Us. We've been hit with a lot of interesting thoughts, Nathan. Interesting controversy, Nathan. I have thoughts both as a gamer and just as a viewer of television, and I think this is very important. Not divide to have. I don't want to spoil my discussion, but it's just like, it's important to look at least from my perspective. I can only speak from, Last of Us is one of my favorite games of all time, especially part 2. And I just knew going into this season, there were going to be changes. I think you just cannot, I know people might be like, oh, yes, you can. You just cannot adapt part 2 from script to screen, from game to picture. You can't do it. You can't. Like, there's only... Yeah, I'll pause. I'll wait. But yeah, I just think it's an impossible task. So I don't blame Mazin and Druckmann for the change that they're making. They're not always going to be your favorite things. You're allowed to have preferences. But just because things aren't like the game doesn't mean they're automatically bad. And I don't know if that's how some people are thinking. That's how I perceive some people to be thinking. So we'll go into all that later on. But yeah, let's dive into Daredevil first. I unfortunately also didn't get a chance to rewatch Daredevil because usually I'll rewatch Last of Us and take notes on Last of Us, especially. For Daredevil, I haven't been taking a lot of notes for this season. It's been, it's been messy. But I liked the finale a lot, and I wanted to rewatch the some moments of the finale. So I'm going off the top of my head here as we dive into Daredevil finale. But overall, Nathan, what were your thoughts on how this Born Again season 1 ended? What were your overall thoughts?
I think I had a good time. It was definitely like a blast to see Matt and Frank do their thing for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm more so pleased with the prospect of what's being set up for the next season that will be show run in full force by the team we know is getting into all the stuff that we're into,
Yeah, jeez.
Big frozen on Evan.
What's going on, man? Oh,
he's back.
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yep. Right. Well, maybe it's me. Maybe I'll leave. Maybe I'm back.
Okay, I'm back. My computer. I started my computer, and they're doing a lot of like updates from Discord and stuff.
That'll do it. Okay. I might still try to leave it.
Back. Jesus. Okay. What is happening? That went in out.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you. It's a bit of a lag still going on there. I'm gonna come in and come out again, see if that fixes.
All right. This is what the people come here for, baby. This is what they love to see in the first 5 minutes. The technical difficulties, the differing Wi-Fi's. And if we can't bond over differing Wi-Fi's, there might not be any hope for us left. Being stupid, obviously. But yeah, this will be interesting to get into everything, chatting about Last of Us and Daredevil today. As Evan said, we're going to talk Daredevil first, and then we're going to break down Last of Us. I think for the sake of our own sanity and adaptation speak, me and Evan are probably going to get into spoilers for Last of Us Part 2 video game for the core story. So if you're looking for spoiler-free viewpoints, I would either go play the game first or just like try to find somebody who hasn't, though that may be in short supply. But yeah, me and Evan, being such hardcore lovers of the series, are probably getting into the full spoilers of the game. What's up?
There we go. We're good.
Cool.
Okay, where we leave off? You said you're talking about your Daredevil overall thoughts. You like Matt and Frank working together.
Yeah, so yeah, that was good stuff. But I think I was more so into what the finale was setting up for the next season. That's going to be handled by the showrunners that we know are going to be getting into all of our preferred favorite things.
True, exactly. Seemingly, it was very funny. Matt's like, we need a team, and everybody made fun of it already. But like, we need a team, and he comes out to like Karen and some ex-cop.
Maybe I'm the weird guy, but like, even though I did see that group, I didn't clock that being the team.
That's what, if you're watching the show, you have to realize that's what the show is trying to tell us.
Even if you like break down like what some of the other creatives are being asked about, like, in Matt saying that, would you guys be intrigued to bringing any other defenders in? They're like, yeah, we absolutely are interested in that. And I showed you online yesterday, people clocked a hint of the Spider-Man score in the track when he said that.
I saw that. That was interesting. But he also said he didn't have any control over that. Or the creator himself didn't even know about that.
Yeah, sure. But even so, the composers themselves were intentionally plugging that in, and I would hope that does. Because I imagine like they do want to use a character like Spider-Man if they ever could.
You think Spider-Man would come on a TV show?
Probably not. They probably can't get the rights functioning for that unless they like really be wanting to play ball. But I don't know if it's impossible. I mean, the fact that Marvel was able to strike the deal to get Matt in No Way Home in the first place, I don't see why they wouldn't like reciprocate such an element. I mean,
impossible.
It's not. You just lack the vision of people saying fuck it.
Spider-Man is such a major character. We've seen some movie characters hop onto the small screen, like Scarlet Witch had her own TV, but it's been like ancillary characters. We never had like a big major character enter the season not as the main character.
Sure, but like I also think like if they were to like greenlight Spider-Man to be in the series, it would only be for like an episode.
Would you want that just for an episode?
I think they could tell an okay story. Like, it depends on what kind of story they're telling, really. I mean, if you want Spider-Man to be in like the full functionality of the vigilante task force, then yeah, absolutely, I want like a longer thing. But also, I could see that like bleeding into his movie. And if you just had like a type of situation where Spider-Man's with Matt for a second, I could see that too. Because it depends where they want to. I mean, you would more likely see Matt pop up in Spidey's movie than Spider-Man in his show, especially with how brutal it is and the kind of stuff that we see Tom Spider-Man experience. Even though he's getting into more like intense situations ever since the events of No Way Home, which was a lot of like brutality against him physically. It's nowhere near like Daredevil level, but like he
just getting that was his casual beat up.
Right, yeah. No, but it toes the line of what's allowed. So I don't know. You would always hope for the best. I could definitely see like them doing, because I don't believe I believe Vincent was probably confused. I think they can use Fisk in a movie by all means, and I would love to see Peter go up against him in some sort of context. They've already used Fisk outside of Daredevil. Granted, it was for other Disney Plus shows, but even so, they're still like were able to use outside of the function of Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah. I mean, that makes the most sense. Like Fisk and Daredevil being in a movie would make a lot of sense, given
Mhm.
that we already saw Matt in No Way Home. Like, I could see that happening. I could see some of those TV characters making their way over to the movie realm. However, just looking at it from the perspective of like the season itself, um, they set up this whole like secret police, not even secret, they're open, but like safer cities initiatives, like the big police in the city cracking down on vigilantes. Season 2 is going to be all about vigilantes or people in general rising up against the power structure. um
Mhm.
I can see a case of like, unfortunately, Spider-Man just not being there, and then Brand New Day takes place after. I mean, it already is going to take place after season 2 of Daredevil. So I don't
Mhm.
know if we're gonna have a Spider-Man connection at all in Daredevil or Daredevil incoming Spider-Man the movie. I can see them settling the whole vigilante police state storyline in season 2, wrapping that story up, and then Brand New Day starts, and it's literally a brand new day for Spider-Man. Like he tried to help out or whatever. But it was mostly a Daredevil Defenders storyline. And when I say Defenders, it's probably just going to be Jessica Jones. I think.
What if like some goons had to get wrapped up, and then we come back to find them, and they're all bunched up together, and there's just like a little note web to the group, just like
I
on
did
your
my
neighborhood
part,
guide.
guys. I
Yeah,
did my part.
you don't see him, but he was there.
Yeah, I mean, again, if this was animated, easy. They could do this in
Oh,
friendly
they just
neighborhoods.
did it. They just did it.
That's why I love friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Is because animated, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, Spider-Man's about to be in the Marvel Zombies thing later this year.
Exactly. So you just have so much more free reign and excitability when it comes to animation. They just unfortunately can't do in live action. So while I think it is possible for Fisk and Matt to be in Brand New Day, I just don't know if that's actually going to happen. I think it's still going to be a completely original storyline. I think Daniel Cretton is just creating an original storyline. I don't know if he watched a lick of Daredevil, Born Again.
Well, I
But yeah,
mean, he can still like plug in adjacent things. It's like
he
Shang-Chi
could.
wasn't exempt from having some
Yeah,
plug. Like Wong was there, Abomination popped up, like things like that. It's very possible for him to have those elements, plug them in, and focus on his core story.
I agree. Um, but yeah, overall, while this season was a bit of a mess, especially towards like episodes, what was it, 5, 6, and 7, the Muse episodes, I guess you could say.
More
Um,
so, like yeah, 6 a little shaky, 7 for sure. Muse
yeah,
dropping the ball.
6 and 7 are a bit. But I actually
We
I
like
forgot.
5
We
as
liked
a bottle
5.
episode.
It
Yeah,
was it was a bottle episode, which was weird for a 9 episode season. They're doing a bottle episode, but I still enjoyed it.
I'm not above a bottle episode myself.
I do. I think bottle episodes are great. It just has to work with the structure of the season. I think, wow, I
Sure.
can admit it didn't work with the structure of the season. Like, for example, Fly is a bottle episode for Breaking Bad. Breaking
Yeah.
Bad only has about like 12 episode seasons, or I forget how many episodes they had towards the end game there. But
It is
Fly,
funny.
yeah,
Sorry. It is funny. Like functioning and knowing like what probably is and isn't overhaul, because throughout all of episode 5, Matt's pretty like a content, chill. He's clocking all the villains and stuff inside, but he has like the silent fight that in the stairwell and stuff like that, and he's handling everything, taking it out pretty silently. And then at the end, he's suddenly super, super violent against that one dude, shattering his face with the glass and whatnot.
yeah, out of nowhere. Um, but yeah, I think like for Breaking Bad, the Fly episode works because his mental state during that season
Mm.
coincided dramatically with what was happening in The Fly, where he was losing control over his relationship with Jesse. Gus is, monitoring him, shadowing him like a clock. He's losing control both in his family life and his work situation is so dire. The personal stakes are so dire. And the Fly episode just encapsulates that, in a funny but heartfelt way.
Mm.
This one was just like, again, it was just a fun bottle episode. So again, I think overall as a recap, I think episodes 1 and 2 were okay-ish. They had some flaws there. 3 was really great. 4 was solid because it had, I mean, 4 I just remember for the
Frank
Punisher
scene. Yeah,
Frank scene. I don't know what else happened in that episode. And there might have been also Muse related as well. I forget. But
maybe. I think
either,
that's also a testament of like, I don't know when Muse was and what
yeah,
we're
bad
doing.
character. So
Good
then episode,
setup. It's just a ball drop.
a huge ball drop, and the character just wasn't that interesting. He was just a serial killer. And
Yeah,
again,
they didn't like let him have his like comic personality. It was just a silent
yeah.
freak.
If you want to make him a silent, dark assassin, like it was mind blowing. We were talking about it when we were watching the episode, and they said he killed like 50 or 60 people. I'm like, oh my god! Like, imagine, guys, imagine if there's a 50 body count serial killer out there, and
That's a
just
lot.
that's a lot.
Or I don't think it's been that. Even if in the span of like 1 year, that's a lot.
That's a lot, and just wasn't talked about until the episode came out. And it's like, oh yeah, by the way, we finally did some research, and 50 people have gone missing since his attacks. I'm like, wait, we're just now talking about this. It was really weird. It came out of nowhere. The season overall, sorry, before I go to season overall, specifically with the season finale, I liked a lot of it. The whole Bullseye angle, we were kind of theorizing our last episode about what would happen with Bullseye. It was kind of weird, admittedly, that he shot Fisk, Matt takes a bullet, and then he just leaves. But I guess I can just go along with like the whole Bullseye crazy mental state that he's undergoing. So he's kind of like, I can't make any logic with an illogical character. For good, he's illogical for good reasons. I mean, not for good reasons, but I like the kind of character where he's like so unpredictable.
Yeah, I'll be intrigued to see what he does next season because he's on set with Matt right now.
Exactly. So we have that going on. But yeah, like I mentioned last week or last time we did our episodes here, the Fisk and Vanessa storyline is just kicking in these last 2 episodes. It's so juicy. It's so good. Fisk is full of blood on his shirt, and he's just talking to Vanessa, and it's really good because in the previous episode, the penultimate episode, Fisk is unloading to Vanessa, sharing about the Adam stuff. She kills Adam, sharing about the house project there. What was it called? What was the building? The Red Hook project. And she's like getting caught up to speed. Their whole friction is kind of gone for the better. And I like that he kind of understands when she talks about the whole Foggy and Bullseye scenario. That was one of the questions we had going into this episode. Why was it that Foggy was so important? Yeah, they mentioned this. He was getting in away for some lawyer case, but they didn't really get into what lawyer case that was for Foggy. It was just that he got in the way, and Matt was like, Vanessa did it, and that's how the episode ended. But then in the finale, we finally get revealed that she was after Foggy because Foggy unknowingly was like fighting back. Well, he was knowingly fighting back against the Red Hook Project, but Matt was saying that he didn't understand the scope of the Red Hook Project and what that would entail if he won the case. If he won the case, it would give the Red Hook Project over to basically like the state or whatever, or it would justify the rights of the state of New York alongside like the Red Hook Project. But by losing the case, the Red Hook Project becomes like this island, this free area that is basically without jurisdiction, and it's fully legal. It's fully legal. That's a big thing. Like, it's fully legal, and Fisk is able to move in anything he wants, commit any kind of acts in this legal gray area of the Red Hook Project, which was fully interesting to me. How he's like in this basically this free state island that's now fully legal, that's owned by the mayor. So it's all connecting to his political power play, connecting to his darker underworld agenda. It's all very, very, very fascinating. And on top of that, I like seeing Fisk's like smile when he's talking to Vanessa. I think it's Vanessa or Buck. I think it's Vanessa when he's talking about like why he wanted to be mayor. This is a question I've been asking all fucking season. Why is it that you just wanted to be mayor? And he says like, I initially wanted to save this city, but I realized how much I'm paraphrasing here, but like I realized how much power I had as the mayor and how I can achieve basically two birds with one stone. And everything he's been doing for the past couple episodes has been achieving. Oh, there's a bug on my table. I killed it, guys. Let's go.
Evan 1, Bug 0.
Bug 0. It's like not even an ant. It's kind of like I don't even know what it is.
There's a swarm on the back of your wall.
Yeah. Oh my god. I got some Star Wars posters from Celebration. I should be putting one up.
Oh.
I want one right here. Right.
Welcome with some pins.
Yeah, I got like a Lucasfilm animation poster and what was the other one, Evan? It was an animation Andor poster, Andor season 2 poster. Yeah, I went to the gaming panel with Zero Company, which really did surprise me. By the way, coming out next year. I didn't know because you have to have a ticket to get a poster. I didn't get my ticket. I just walked out the panel. I'm like, where was the tickets at? Am I blind? So Jalen and I both missed the ticket, so we couldn't get the Zero Company one. But that's fine. I got Andor and the animation poster, which is fine. I wish they did a Visions poster, but they got Visions pins, which is cool still too. But yeah, back to the Daredevil part. I love Fisk, his evil laugh coming to terms with his dominant position at the beginning of the episode. And at the beginning of the episode, he's gloating or he's like reveling in his dominant position and his good connection with his wife again. And then at the end of the episode, we get a chilling like, I love New York. It's like a chilling smile, like I love New York. And just
unless you linger.
Yeah, unless you linger on it. Like Vincent D'Onofrio is so good in that role as Fisk. It's a chilling performance. So overall, Fisk was just a fantastic presence in this episode here.
Yeah, I'm always weary of Fisk, but like by the end of the season, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I'm terrified of you.
Yeah, like he's a character that you just want to root against and stop, but he's also so captivating in the role that you're like eager for any new scene with him in it.
Yeah, you're captivated to see what his next move is, but you're all the time like rooting for Matt to stop this guy.
Exactly. And that goes into before going to Matt's storyline there, Fisk. Did anybody watch what show was it? Was it That's So Raven? Where we have like the juicer character. Remember, do you guys know what I'm talking about? Like
maybe the juicer.
The juicer, like on That's So Raven, there was a character that would just like scrunch things and then juice would come out. Like he would scrunch like a paper bag.
I'll tell you what was weird. I recently like some months ago, we randomly turned on That's So Raven. I think it was on like the throwback live stream, and there was a whole episode where there were like other fucking superpowered people, like how Raven is a psychic. Like they also had fucking powers. I was like, what the fuck?
What?
This is just here?
Was it like a classic episode or was it like a new?
Classic. It was classic.
Wow. Okay.
Like second, third season. It was like, what the hell?
I don't remember that.
And it's like, are you going to choose people like you, Raven, or you're going to choose your real friends? It was like that lesson.
Oh, God. Yeah. Every Disney show has that lesson episode.
We're different, but we're superior. Let's stop it.
Stop it. What are we doing here? Gotta love old school Disney, guys. There's no subtext.
2003. What can you do?
Exactly. We should do like a Disney. We keep talking about like doing like a Disney stream of like That's So Raven.
Dude, I will watch some throwbacks any day, man.
Yeah, we gotta do some throwbacks. Like Zach and Cody, That's So Raven. They were hitting back in those days, man. There was some good shit. Drake and Josh, of course, different channel, but still.
Yeah, Nickelodeon playing, dude. Fucking SpongeBob's so funny. Like it really is.
Yeah, one of the best shows still ever. At least the first couple of seasons there.
Every time I always think of you whenever I see the not at all boy.
Not boy.
Look at it. Look at it. Look at it.
Peak episode. But yeah, I mentioned the juicer because Fisk brutally killing the commissioner, my guy.
Cool practical effect.
Cool, very cool practical effect. I heard they got like a watermelon. I'm kidding. I don't know how they did it.
They got like a full like mold of the actor, and it was obviously filled with something, probably watermelon. Yeah, man, that was what like that is like some full on like if Matt's able to super jump around the city now, Kingpin's got some absurdly insane strength now, and it is unsettling.
It's very unsettling, and we mentioned it a little bit in the Hawkeye series where he like took a car hit, right? Didn't he get hit by a car and just like
he got shot in the stomach by Kate with an arrow, and he just fucking broke that shit off.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, like this guy just constantly wearing like Velcro suits or like a super armored suit or something.
That is just him.
Did you like John Wick? That was some terrifying. Draven.
I think you gotta watch Terrifier,
buddy.
Draven.
Why
are you Draven, you want Evan to watch more Terrifier, right?
What are you doing, Draven? You're gonna remind Nathan that we gotta finish up Terrifier 2 and 3.
You act as if I ever forget, sir.
I hope you do. One day you are going to forget.
I need you to meet the actress of the series who is so good.
I'm just gonna keep on giving Nathan other commentary excuses.
Like, come on, Nathan, don't you want to watch Phase 1 of the MCU? No.
No, I don't.
Terrifier.
Veto to both those things. You guys see Art at his peak. I keep forgetting his name is Art. Why is that? The guy's a crazy.
I don't know, man. Why don't you watch some fucking lore?
I don't want to care about lore, but person who just cuts a naked woman in half.
It's not just his lore. There's other lore.
There's other lawyer to do a fucking clown.
Well, yeah, you have an actual main character now.
I don't know, fam.
Evan, please. Please. I don't get why you're like, oh yeah, I'll watch every fucking Saw movie. I will watch all the Final Destination.
Yes. Don't compare Saw and Final Destination to a naked woman getting cut in half with a mute clown in a darkly lit room in a freaking abandoned factory filled with dumb characters.
I'll compare what I want.
Like, you gotta admit,
what I want.
Terrifier 1 was not the best. Like, oh, I gotta see what happens next.
Sure, but like that is definitely a lot more like super indie grindhouse. But like, I'm telling you, we're getting the more.
And it's 2.5 hours. That's ridiculous for a horror movie.
Says the guy who likes that Saw X was longer.
I do. Longer as in 1:45. And it's a Saw movie, so I knew what I was in for. If this movie said like, okay, cool, fucking Saw actors in it, I'm like, okay, cool, I'm watching it. But whoever plays this, I forget the guy's name. Who's Jigsaw, whatever his name is.
Our boy Tobin Bell.
Tobin Bell, yeah. If he was in this Terrifier movie, okay, you know what? I'll watch.
Maybe he is.
Maybe
you don't know. You don't know that he's not.
I don't know. But I know that you're lying.
I didn't lie about anything. I just said you don't. I said facts. I said you don't know that he's not in it. What do you want, motherfucker? An intermission?
Yes. Shit. Let's shoot the shit for 5 minutes.
If we get to a point where you need to stop, I will stop.
Not gonna lie, a lot of punches I like being roar always gets me. Let's get into that. So yeah, I think to put a cap on the Fish storyline, I liked that, everything leading up to the commissioner was pretty dark and interesting. Sheila selling out the commissioner while being like a vote of confidence for the commissioner was shocking a little bit. I thought by the end of the season, I thought she'd turn by the end of the season. Looks not, but it does make for a compelling character going into season 2. Like how far will she toe the line as Fisk gets even more power?
Yeah, and I don't think it's out of loyalty. I think it's out of fear.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. It's fully out of fear, which makes it so much more interesting, right? She's doing all this. Wow.
So can she get out?
Yeah. Can she get out? Can she navigate her situation? She is one of the rare side characters in the show that I'm actually I like, most of all because she's a great actress. I like her in a lot of things. But her and Daniel also within the Fisk storyline. Fisk elevating this guy to like the social communications manager, something along those lines. Political communications, something along those lines. Where he's able to like threaten the city council in a very funny scene. So in contrast to Sheila, who's obviously wavering and is unsettled by her actions in the finale by selling out the commissioner, Daniel is not. Daniel is fully locked into Fisk's agenda. So in season 2, while she's going to be wavering and we'll see what happens with her, Daniel is seemingly locked in. But I had a thing where, and this is a Bad Batch connection, guys. Go watch Star Wars, the Bad Batch fuckers. But I told Jalen that, Nathan, remember in the beginning of Bad Batch season 1 and all of season 1 and into season 2, we had the big bad of the Bad Batch, Admiral whatever his name was. We had the Admiral. He blew up Camino. He did his thing. He was elevated to a bigger position. And in season 2, what do? They defeat him, and the Empire's like, oh, it was him, not us. We didn't do shit. That was all him. We didn't do shit. Fisk is going to do that again. It happened in season 3 with Nadine, where they blew, and they even mentioned in this episode, where a lot of the Fisk didn't stand that much time in jail because they just made it FBI corruption storyline rather than a Fisk corruption storyline. I think they're going to do the same thing here. They're elevating Daniel to a higher position so that his fallout is even deeper when Fisk sells him out. I thought in episode 1, Fisk would kill him, but he's too valuable now. He's too much of your ally. That being said, I think Fisk would easily sell him out. Draven says, Loki, I was expecting Defenders to show up at the end, but then it was just Cherry and some cops. Yeah, we mentioned that, Draven, up top. Our connection was dwindling. But yeah, we mentioned how the whole cop thing is pretty dumb, but
I think it'll be more.
Yeah, it'll be more. It'll be more. Like, there's no way you can create a compelling season full of like Cherry and ex-cops. Karen can't do all the heavy lifting. I think Catherine. I think Jessica Jones is a guarantee. She's the easiest one. Kristen Ritter is fantastic. She has the most social clout amongst fans. Marvel loves her fans. Care about it a bit too much. But I think Mike Coulter is a bit busy. I know Evil was done. Evil didn't get renewed. But I know I heard him talking about like a busy schedule on Twitter or somewhere recently.
Through TV.
But maybe he's not. Maybe Mike Coulter can come back. And we all know Finn Jones would love to return as Iron Fist and prove people wrong, which I'm all game for. I wouldn't mind that at all.
Maybe that could also mean we can get Jessica Henwick back.
That's my thing. Jessica's the best character in that fucking universe, next to Jessica Jones, in my opinion. I'm just a huge Jessica Henwick fan. She's incredible.
I wouldn't mind seeing Rosario back. Could be cool.
And that's the definition of a busy schedule. She's too busy.
Come on, you have to do something when you're not filming Star Wars.
She's filming Ahsoka for the next 3 months now?
Okay, and then after that,
we'll be done filming season 2.
And now we got to film season 3 and 4. The fucking Filoni movie. And
season 2's already filming while they're filming Ahsoka season 2, so it's a wrap for Rosario.
Man, if she could do any Kevin Smith film whenever he asks, because they're good friends.
That's different. Yeah, Kevin Smith.
They're friends.
You film that in a day or two.
You do. That's true.
We can't really do that for Defenders. Yeah, we talked about that as well. Yeah, Sony. I just think there's no way Sony's going to play it cool and bring Spider-Man to TV. Just not going to happen.
And I think Evan's lame. Just kidding. But I think they could. I think if they could strike some type of deal if they wanted. I think they could figure something for at least one episode, not a whole season appearance or even like multiple episodes. I think just one. But we probably would get more bang for our buck if we just had a Matt and Spider-Man team up movie.
Yeah, I think these are ones just to bring Matt to the movie instead of the movie to Matt, per se. So yeah, Spider-Man would be fun, but like I wouldn't just want it for one episode. And like I can't see them coming to Sony being like, "Hey, so can you buy Spider-Man for just one episode? It's for the fans." Like, if I'm Sony, I'm like, "Okay, I don't give a fuck." No, it's like
I don't know. I feel like they would be like. I feel like they have like a lot. They have a. I think they could probably strike something. They were like, "Look, you want to make a trade? We get Spidey for episode. We'll give you one of our guys for some small. I don't know. We'll give you a fucking MCU cameo and Beyond the Spider-Verse. I don't know. Whatever you want.
Yeah.
Now you're fine. They already made a fucking reference in Across. You were fine.
That was different. That was fine. That was like a hey, cool song walking. I don't. The less live action, the better, because you're towing the line. You got cool with whatever his name was.
Donald Glover.
Prowler, exactly. Yeah. But yeah. So where were we? So yeah, that's the Fisk stuff. I think Fisk's side characters and Daniel and Sheila are much more interesting than Matt's side characters. Heather is a horrible character. Horrible character. And there are characters where you can like, oh, I love to root against them. Not the case for Heather, because she's just hard to mentally track what her actions and results are. It's just like, okay, you're hearing from a lot of people that you shouldn't trust Fisk, but then you're just gonna kiss his ass and everything. Like, I would have been more compelled if it was just singularly Matt and Heather having emotional relationship friction. That would make more sense. But by bringing in Fisk for the reason that they're having the friction, I'm just like, no, because objectively it's just not right. And we have seen other characters drink the Fisk tea. She's not the only one. But when she is in such a close proximity to people like Matt, who is bludgeoning her, not physically, with information about like, hey, don't trust Fisk, and she just goes against it for no good reason, that's where I'm just like, come on. Like, there's a police state. There's a police state. Everybody sees it now. And you're still with Fisk. Wow. Like, get out of here now. You can go. Go.
Yeah, but like I think she is also anti-vigilante as well.
There's an 8 p.m. curfew too. Fuck out of here, Fisk.
Fuck out of here on like every fucking nighttime business for New York. There's no fucking shot.
There's no way. Like,
what are we doing? Essential workers and that's it?
The show should have said like 10 o'clock max. Because 10 o'clock is like, okay, go home.
I don't know. She already said yes before you fucking said that shit. But
that was weird.
I don't know. He's fuck. I don't know. Things are martial law. Like things are fucking whoa. We can only anticipate how that would roll. But in terms of Heather, I don't know. I think like circa overhaul, they're attempting to do something interesting because like obviously like the whole lead through of just like they love each other. I'm like how.
Yeah,
that was quick. But like if I go back to their first scene, their actual like situation meeting was a cute situation.
That was a cute scene.
That's a good set and fucking overhaul. And then now they're actually like exploring shit where like, okay, you know what? If we play it where like they genuinely aren't good for each other, they have different ideals. They're just not good to each other. Like she's oblivious to Matt's point, even though Matt's not sharing. Like she has her own opinions on vigilante stuff. Matt is just not able to actually like give her the time and focus because he is focusing on the Daredevil stuff. Not his fault necessarily, but like it's just not in the cards for them to be together. So going ahead and setting them down different roads and then now making her a part of Fisk's business and situation would be kind of interesting. It makes you wonder, will Fisk tell Heather who Matt really is? Will she use that in any publications she does in regards to the vigilante research she's doing? I don't know. Things are possible.
Yeah, I mean, I just shut you down automatically, but then it does create an interesting scenario. I always think of the whole Matt and the Fisk thing as like a, what does it call it? Mutually assured destruction. Like even tonight, Matt saved his life. And I loved how Fisk was like, that's cool. Buck, kill his ass. I'm like, oh shit!
Wouldn't be interesting if he succumbed to his wounds, saving
that was
them.
Great. He didn't give a fuck.
He was like, this is great for me.
Yeah. That's why I love Fisk. He didn't give a fuck. He was like, okay, cool. Kill his ass. And I'll make him look like a hero. I'm like, oh, that's so good. That's
just greater fuel for the devil on Matt's shoulders with Frank being like, man, none of this shit you're doing is working. Just fucking take them out. Let them die.
It's so interesting. But either way, you didn't hear Fisk say, "I'm going to reveal Matt's identity." Right?
No,
Like even in death, he would have died a lawyer who took a shot for a mayor. Um, so I just love that they both know who they are, but they're not spilling it. Because if Fisk reveals that Matt's a vigilante, Fisk does have the power position, right? He has the high road, high position here, but high ground. I mean, but Matt has no like big leverage against Fisk.
I think all leverage is gone at this point. I think,
Yeah,
like Matt has to go into hiding right now.
yeah.
Like he can't exist as Matt Murdock, because if he does, the task force are automatically going to lock him in cages like everybody else. Like
Exactly.
Frank.
Over some bullshit, and they can just say whatever they want.
Yeah, it's fucking swordsman's in there. It's like,
Yeah.
you didn't even have solid proof, and you got him.
So it does connect with like, and it blew up his home too.
Yeah. So
I forgot that he wasn't in Hell's Kitchen, by the way.
is he not?
That's
No. Yeah. That's right. Hell's Kitchen is getting gentrified, honestly, right now.
So they were saying like, oh, this gives an excuse for the showrunners to go back to Hell's Kitchen. I'm like, oh, I didn't know he wasn't in Hell's Kitchen. But either way, he gets to move back into a more, this was more of a lavish lifestyle that he was having with his just in terms of like setting.
I miss his old apartment with the neon sign glowing into the window.
The neon sign, it felt more, even though there was a neon light, it felt more dark and grimy for Matt's, like, going back to his mental state. It worked for the character that he was.
It was beautifully colored, shadowy setting as opposed to the pristine white. I think that is a big, like, unintentional or not, whether like one team ran with this while the other didn't intend. But there does seem to be like a central theme of like Matt being in the setting and his new work setting, new people he's around. He's just like, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel like me. Like I'm not where I should be. And I think that plays into both like his locations and the people he's around, the system he's trying to work for that isn't.
Yeah, and I think the old crew would have gotten there eventually, obviously. And that's like narrative 101. It's like, I don't feel comfortable where I'm at, and things are coming crashing around me, and then I'm back to being Daredevil. But it goes back into what we were talking about, like with other movies, like I think BVS is a good example where people want to, I don't hate BVS, but like there's a notion with BVS and other superhero movies of late, or of that era, the 2016, 2020 era, where they wanted to like deconstruct the heroes, right? And like,
the hero accountable for the damages and stuff.
Yeah, like you want to deconstruct it and start even outside of the superhero genre. Like movies would start off with like, I want to deconstruct, see how they got there, see them rise above it, and then they can be the hero. So like, so Batman's doing all this crazy shit, but then he's Batman. Superman's going through all this shit, he dies, but then he can be Superman. Or the Alicia Vikander Tomb Raider movie where it's like she goes through all this shit and now she's Tomb Raider. It's like, why couldn't we? Or Uncharted, right? Where it's like we get this adventure and now he's Nate. He
have to earn the title.
He has to earn the thing. It's just like, or he can just give it to us up front. Oh, even the sequel's coming out this year, Mortal Kombat. It's like we don't get a tournament, but now we get a tournament. Now we get what you want. It's like for Daredevil, back to Daredevil, it's like, we get it. He's going through depression, but just give us Daredevil. You can do a good mold. You can do season 3 did that, where it's like, yeah, he didn't want to be like super Daredevil, but we still saw him doing Daredevil actions while going through a personal journey. I think that's what they were trying to do with Born Again, where he's trying to be born again as Daredevil, but just way too long. And it took way too many ups and downs and twists and turns that were just unnecessary to get to the point where we got in the finale.
Yeah, and I guess I think it more so depends on the individual hero, I guess, because Matt, as Matt, is so compelling.
Yeah.
Even then, like without the suit, that I'm like, all right, well, I mean, fuck, Charlie Cox is just delivering so well. I'm kind of okay, like just functioning. Like, this isn't like the first time you see something like this. Like, hell, a lot of Iron Man 3 was Tony out of the suit, but like fucking Robert's so charismatic and tech savvy that he can function, different things like that. But yeah, there are like some instances where like if I'm watching a hero, like I need him to see him be the hero. It's like, I love Peter Parker as a character and I love his struggles, but he does have to be Spider-Man to have that dual feeling of the responsibility and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm not just gonna watch a Peter Parker movie. Spider-Man 2 did that so well, where like we get a lot of great
Sure,
Spider-Man
yeah.
stories, and even when he hangs it up for like 10 minutes, it's still compelling.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is like you have like so much where like it's not just things are going wrong for Peter, but like things are going wrong for Spider-Man. Like it was a good balance, so
Yeah,
it was
everything
functioning
was
that way.
crashing around him. Yeah.
And then when it all comes back together, you're like, he's back.
Yeah, exactly. You get more of a euphoria reaction there. But going back now, all the way to Draven's roar comment here with Frank. The Frank and Matt stuff, we mentioned it up top. That was the big highlight of the episode. They have great chemistry with each other. And what surprised me the most, what I loved the most, and I'm not usually a fan of this, guys, but the love triangle that's just there between Matt Fisk, not Matt, whoa, Matt, different. That's on AO3.
AO3, is that you?
But between Matt, Karen, and Frank,
Evan, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think there's no I don't think there is a triangle. I think it's just Frank and Karen, and I love it.
Shit.
I think that's it. Because frankly, there's a lot of shippers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so torn because Matt and Karen are like day oneers, right? They're just like they just have an innate chemistry that Fisk. I keep saying Fisk. That Frank and Karen cannot replicate. Season 1, episode 1, Matt saving Karen in the rain. That's like as romantic, meet up, I save you, we're locked forever. Like that. That's it. But I do love the Frank and Karen connection because Karen understands Frank on a level that nobody else does. And the heartbeat thing was very funny. And
I saw Matt as being like a mediator for them. It's just like,
mediator.
You fucking like, dude, I heard. What? No, he's not jealous at all. What are you talking
about?
You're not jealous.
You didn't get that.
Watch that scene again, motherfucker. You watched that TV ago.
I watched it. There's no way where he's just like, oh, Karen, I saw your heartbeat there for a bit, and then he mentioned she mentioned to him like, did you watch my heartbeat when I met you or something like that? Like
no. She asked like, did his heart beat as well? And he kind of plays it off of like, yeah.
Yeah. But still, I still think Matt has a lot of feel. Like he even calls Heather Karen in the same episode that we get Karen coming back. Like this episode was about.
We're going back to the status quo, baby. We're breaking away from Heather. That's the point. Look, Evan, that's been with like 7 other women at this point. You got to let this go.
That's true, but like. You can go through like 7 other women and fall back on not fall back, but like, and then just like, come to terms with your relationship to Karen. That being said, what I meant to say was that like, I do like Frank and Karen, but like Matt and Karen makes a lot of sense. They oneers, but Matt and Elektra, it should be the main thing. Matt and Elektra are like locked. Like that's what I really want to happen is Matt and Elektra. Even in the comic books, we have Matt and Elektra. But Matt and Elektra is like Batman and Catwoman to me.
Okay.
I'm just like, they're so like, they understand each other as Bruce and Selena and as Catwoman and Batman. Like, Karen doesn't really have that. I mean, Karen understands Matt's Daredevil arc. And I love the talk that she has with Matt as Daredevil in this episode and what he's going through. And he's able to finally unleash his thoughts to Karen the same way that Fisk did to Vanessa. I thought there was a good parallel there. But yeah, I mean, I just still think the show, I could easily see them doing Karen and Matt Endgame as much as I want a Frank and Karen Endgame. I'm not, I wouldn't be upset either way. For me, it kind of reminds me of like The Last Airbender, where I thought like Zuko and Katara could work out, but it went to Katara and Aang. And that's fine for me. Matt and Karen is like Katara and Aang for me. Where it's just like, oh, okay, that makes sense. It kind of makes sense. But the more interesting one is Karen and Frank. The more
Yeah,
interesting
man.
one would have been Zuko and Katara. But I see where they're going.
Yeah, fair. I mean, yeah, I do love the element of Frank being like, I won't do shit for nobody except you.
Except for Karen. Except for Karen.
It's like,
Hey, Karen.
but Evan, she called and he immediately went to go get all clean shaven, look nice, offering her cups of coffee. Fucking, you know what coffee means in this universe.
Yeah, for sure.
He did offer that some, but
like, I told you last
AO3!
Let's go. But I did tell you, no, not did, but like I loved when Matt says like, "Oh, you get all clean shaven over here, Frank," and then combining that with like what he learns later in the episode is just like it was just so peak. And then when Frank was like, "Hey, Karen, I did our promise. I did what you said," or something like that, and she just like stares at him like, "Oh my god, it was so good.
They have so good. Matt and Frank have such great banter. Like, oh, you get all clean up for me? Yeah, sure did. You're not gonna fight him with your ass hanging out? Fucking.
It was.
And I also love like after the fight when they have to jump away from the grenade. If you like were watching closely, Frank jumps ahead of Matt just off a cliff. Just like, I trust Matt's gonna catch me for this, and he does.
Yeah, that was funny as hell. Yeah, they just have great chemistry. Yeah, Frank's roars, just him unleashing on the other cops was great. Him telling it to them like he just doesn't believe them. He hates them. He despises them. That was great. I still wanted that one cop fucker to die this season. He didn't.
It's going to be so satisfying when he does. We're going to get him.
Yeah. The black cop, though, does die. He was the one that shot Hector. So that's good. So, yeah.
Frank is always fucking wild when he's trying to get Matt to kill somebody.
It is.
Because Matt's like, it's not worth it. And then he's just like, what about him? He worth it?
Yeah. But Matt's like, God damn it, stop.
You're fucked. All the time. And then grenade. And then they have to ride down. And Karen's there. Shotgun.
Yeah. It's just so good. So good. You can't replicate it.
Okay, so also, again, in like looking for tiny details, whether it's intentional or not, remembering like when they see each other in their heartbeats. As soon as Karen steps out of the car, Matt like looks back at Frank kind of just like, oh fuck. He hears like the heart change.
Yeah. The heartbeat one was just very funny. It was a very good way of Matt like connecting the dots. And making fun of it all. I mean, I would love for Frank to have some happiness again.
Yeah.
I did kind of have a problem with him walking into an ambush not armed. That didn't seem like something Punisher would do. It kind of worked out. I mean, he's such a what's it called? Brash character. Like he is smart. He is strategic. But
he could easily take somebody else's weapon.
Yeah, but when it came into, and he got a couple of shots in there. He got like 5 people dead there. But I don't know what he did. Did he just walk in there unarmed?
Because in the establishing shot when he was deciding to go back out there to help, he picks up his shotgun.
Yeah.
And then he did the silent like throat slit that was a lot of fucking blood and coated the light.
That was cool. But either way, he did come in there outnumbered. I think he didn't expect how many cops there were, which, like, I think the show was saying, like, Frank just went in there not expecting that many cops, but Matt went in there and he saw, like, oh, wait, this is not it. I can't do this. He took his time while Frank didn't. But I think, as Frank was yelling at them and saying that, I think it just got to him emotionally. That's how I kind of encapsulated it. I was like, okay, he's just doing this to get his last off. If he would have died, he would have died. I mean, that's Frank's thing, right? Like, he just doesn't give a fuck if he dies or not. He wants to get his point across. He's not super careful about his life. Like Nathan just said, he just tried to jump out a window, not knowing if Matt was going to pick him up or not. Like, shit, he could have died. So yeah. That's just who Frank is. He's a brash character, unpredictable character. But I like that he got his point across there to those assholes, and he escaped by the end of the episode out of those cages in the post-credit scene.
I forgot we're getting his special
So yeah, regarding the special, I think after season 2, before season
Is it
2,
after? It may be. I feel maybe before.
it could be before. I think before would make more sense.
Yeah. I mean, if they're already like filming stuff now, they could just have them like around similar sets and settings and have them do stuff.
And the special is going to be what? How long was
The specials are usually like
90 minutes?
45 to 50 minutes.
Okay, yeah, even less than an hour. So yeah. Like an episode basically. A little bit longer than an episode, a little bit shorter than an episode. So yeah. 60 minutes at most, 60 to 70 minutes. So yeah, just a short special about Frank's, darker side or whatever. I forget what Bernthal was talking about. He said we're gonna see Fisk, or you're gonna see Frank unleashed. But okay. Overall, messy season, but 2 great episodes in the finale, in the penultimate episode. Give me a lot of confidence for season 2. I'm excited to see what Defenders characters they can get. Hopefully they can get as much as they can, because that's like the obvious thing that people want. And I'm trying to think what else. I really want Elektra. I mentioned her with Matt's relationship. I think Elektra just is such a great character. People love to shit on Daredevil season 2 part 2, but I didn't mind it. I just thought it got monotonous with them fighting ninjas. The connection with them was so good, but the storyline with them was just a little bit messy in terms of just like, oh, there's ninjas. Oh, more ninjas.
Arguably, my least favorite stuff of the Daredevil and Defender stuff is the hand, but
yeah, just like the hand wasn't that interesting.
Sure, which granted, whenever I'm watching like Ninja Turtles, I don't really give a shit about the foot. I give a shit about Shredder and the fucking turtles. Exactly. So similar thing and similar appendages, but I'm be excited. Can we get Elektra back? Because isn't she dead?
Yeah.
Okay.
And.
Did they resurrect? They resurrected her once in Defenders, right? And then the building collapsed.
And then the building collapsed, and she died again.
Or Matt almost fucking back up blown up.
She saved Matt. Is that right?
Probably, maybe.
Remember, like she's like, "I'm not leaving you," and then the building falls, and he somehow survives.
But you would suggest like maybe like she's been living, she escaped the rubble, and
it doesn't matter. It's Elektra. You can't just kill off Elektra on a Netflix show and never use her in the MCU again, idiots.
Marvel Television, baby.
I know, right?
Loeb
is gone. Kevin Feige, do your thing.
Right on. I would love to see it too. She's a phenomenal actress, and her and Matt's chemistry is amazing.
Elodie Young is just beautiful. Yeah, we all did.
I'll never forget Sigourney in anything. I love Sigourney Weaver.
She's great.
It's funny she's just an X-Wing pilot coming up, but like she's gonna be my favorite X-Wing pilot.
I watched the trailer for Mando and Grogu, not the trailer, the little sizzle that they gave us for next year. My theory is that while she sends, small hyperspace hype plug. My theory is that while she sends Mando and Grogu on missions, hopefully she turns bad and be like, oh, she's actually bad.
Don't do this to me.
Make it interesting. Who's a villain in that fucking movie, anyways? The Empire.
Moff Gideon's. No, it's fucking. Isn't it fucking that bounty hunter from Clone Wars? Pendo, what's his name?
Embo, I think EMBO.
That's right. Embo, and then maybe an appearance by Aura Singh. I don't remember what.
That'd be bad. I mean, we see him fighting. He's fighting inside of the AT-AT all that shit. It's like. It has to be Empire
again. It's just the Empire again.
It's the Empire again.
More remnants. I don't know. Are we building toward the First Order, or is it? Do we care?
You don't care.
Is it just like, hey, a cute adventure?
It's going to be a cute adventure movie. But what bugs me is that, like, and I know this is an Hyperspace hype. Before we get into Last of Us, that's going to dominate the rest of this podcast. What bugs me is that, like, we're getting 2 like pleasant Star Wars movies in a row with Mando and Grogu 2026, Pleasant Adventure, Mando and Grogu, yay! And then May 2027, Starfighter, Ryan Gosling, yay! Like I'm not getting like my Star Wars should be fun, of course, obviously, but like even the prequels have some dark-ish, like even Attack of the Clones, like it's fun, but it's complex. I'm not getting complex with Mando and Grogu and Starfighter. Maybe Starfighter surprised me.
Some like dark operatic, somber elements, but which are prevalent in a lot of it's more prevalent in episodes 2 and 3. It's definitely prevalent in 5 and 6. 8 and 9. Yeah, usually like the latter parts of a trilogy. And granted, they're working on the Kinberg stuff, but yeah, I definitely want like it can't just be like the fun serial adventure. Like I know we were born out of the concepts of the serials, but like motherfucker, I need more.
But they love that shit at Lucasfilm,
They
especially
do.
for two main movies in a row, 2026 and 2027. I think they would love to get like a fun serial in May. But that being the case, if we still do have a December 2027 Ray movie, like if that's still on the card, you could, and like because it's December 2027, you could film that like next summer.
Do they think like they can only get that dark with the dark side and Jedi?
Maybe, which is flawed thinking, right? Because we know like Bad Batch is very dark at times.
We pitched up a ton of times of like, oh, it's if Din had to choose between the fucking cult he's in and just being himself and just like, do I put on this helmet or can I live without it? Can I breathe?
Favreau has some complex storytelling to dive into for sure. Yeah. Will they do it? But yeah, it's 1 hour in, and for the next hour, maybe hour and a half, I don't know Nathan's bedtime, but
well, you know who could have used a helmet?
Wow, starting it off.
That's right, Evan. Dina. No, okay.
But let's get into this. What I think are two great episodes of The Last of Us season 2.
I agree.
I really like both episodes a lot, and there's a lot to mine. And again, I usually have a lot of notes. I'm not going to be as precise as I will in subsequent podcasts, maybe episodes 3 through 7, because I'll be rewatching these religiously. Because I think Mazin and Druckmann do have a lot to say, contrary to what people think they don't have to say.
I need to get back onto the official podcast.
I never did watch those for season 1. Were those good?
Yeah, I watched. It really helped me like have insight when we did review them. But yeah, they were very like insightful of like, speaking on adaptation and like transference from the game to the screen.
Yeah,
and different things like that, and hidden details and whatnot. So they're definitely insightful for sure.
I might have to dive into that again.
I did watch like a featurette making of for episode 2 of behind the scenes and like table talk of them making it. Different like talking head segments.
The one after HBO or a different one? Like the one after the episode? Or...
I think it is what appears after the episode. I watched it on YouTube, but I think that's where they usually play. Yeah,
because like 2 or 3 minutes or 5 minutes maybe.
Mine was like 9.
9 minutes. Might have been extended. Yeah, definitely wasn't 9 minutes for me. But we're going to be coming from the perspective of gamers.
Yeah.
Nathan and I have both played Last of Us Part 2. You played the game by yourself, right?
I did. I played it at launch.
Yeah. I know you're not a super gamer, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I usually I game story-based games, so
yeah. Are you excited for Ghost of Your Toy? Did you play Ghost of Tsushima?
I played Ghost of Tsushima. I did not play the director's cut, so I didn't get there. But yeah, I loved Ghost. I'm super excited for that film adaptation from Chad when that comes.
Yeah, Ghost of Your Toy, whatever it's called, had a trailer today, and it's coming out October 2nd. It looks really good. It's a revenge story. It's like we've seen it before, but it looks really compelling and really good.
Is it just PS5?
Just PS5. Yeah. I forgot you have a PS4.
I'm stuck in the back. I wait like fucking 3 years before I get mine.
Yeah, it's been 5 years of the PS5 generation, which is crazy to think about.
Has it? Fuck. Yeah. I got an ad. I got an ad that was like, buy The Last of Us Part 2 remastered on PS5 for $80. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, that's a lot. But yeah, getting into this episode here, episode 1 and episode 2. Now, I want to focus on episode 2, but like, let's dive into what we liked about episode 1. Maybe what you didn't like either. Look,
as the king of 5 stars, I don't dislike anything, man. I really don't.
Yeah, it's hard for me. Like, I think jumping to part 2. I do prefer a lot of stuff still from the game. Joel, getting into spoilers, guys. Again, spoilers for the game. Even though now that I say spoilers for the game, I'm just not realizing that like whenever I say spoilers for Last Part 2, it's always about Joel's death, which everybody has seen now. I'm not going to be spoiling what happens after Joel's death because it's not really related to what happened in episode 1 and 2. So we are going to this from spoiler perspective, but like
we are, although I may touch on like future story elements with like Ellie and Tommy, like mid. Like
you're right. I'm stupid. Don't listen to what I just said because I do have thoughts. I do have thoughts about Abby, Ellie, and Tommy moving forward that we'll talk about later.
We may talk on Jesse, exactly. Dina, everyone.
Yeah. But yeah, where are they going with that? But yeah, spoilers for the games if you have not played it. But overall, Nathan and I really liked part 1 and part 2, or episode 1, episode 2.
We love the first season.
I love the first season a lot. I think the first season is a really good, I would say a 10 out of 10 season. Don't shoot me. Actually, if you do, I don't give a fuck. But
I think a great adaptation, great expansion.
I think it was a great expansion. I think it was a great season of TV. Bella Ramsey, fantastic. Pedro Pascal, fantastic. The changes made sense. It's not Pittsburgh. They went to Kansas. Doesn't give a fuck. I don't care.
Don't care. Bill and Frank are even better.
Bill and Frank episode was fantastic.
The mall scene with what's her name?
Ellie and I'm just thinking of Dina right now. But yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, she was great.
That was great. The cold open with Ellie's mother, played by Ashley Johnson. That's a great little.
That was great. Riley, that's her name.
Riley, yes.
Yeah, Ashley Johnson. That change in the finale really worked for me. Really worked for me. We went deep into that. Why that finale with seeing the birth of Ellie, and what makes her so special, coinciding with the events of the finale with Joel saving Ellie. Something that what was the leader of the Fireflies wanted to do, had an obligation to do, but then Joel just shoots her because she was going against her obligation to her mom. It was all very complex. And off the bat, I want to say a lot of the change that they make for episodes 1 and 2 here, I think what the show is doing smartly, which again is different from the game. The game's doing one thing that did it very, very well. I love part 2 100%. But I think with part 1, or what the HBO adaptation is doing very well on the same token, is focusing in on Joel's actions. Getting Abby up front, Abby's motivations up front, which people have hated. Woo, they hate this. I don't mind it at all. But I think it's focused on Joel's actions. Episode 1 is focusing in on reuniting us with Joel, Ellie, setting of Jackson, which people in episode 2 were like, I don't care about Jackson. Cut to Ellie and I'm like, Jackson is so important.
Jackson's so important. I fucking like Jackson. Even then, like, have fucking humanity that like fucking families and children are at stake of dying.
Yeah, I mean, I think strengthening the heart of the setting being a character, is very important. I think it's more important than what the games we're talking about. The games have talked about Jackson being this like haven, right? Again, spoilers, but like episode 3 is going to be talking about like how do we recover. But in the game, after Joel dies, Maria's against it because she's scared for Tommy and Ellie. Obviously, they're going into uncharted territory. But her main thing is like, who's protecting Jackson? And as a gamer, I'm like, I don't care. I need to find Joel's killer. I need to kill Abby. And I don't care because Jackson is not in any danger in the game. I don't care. I need to go off to Seattle. What's losing Ellie and Dina going to do to Jackson in the game? Nothing. From my perspective, I'm just like, Jackson's fine. In the show now, it's like, if you lose Ellie and Dina, who are 2 high-profile killers, just defenders in general, and Jesse, and potentially Tommy, that's like 4 people after Jackson's in ruins in an apocalypse. We can't do that. That's a problem.
That's a big thing too, especially like because in the context of Jackson being in the context of the show, Jackson being under attack, all they had was they had everybody, but Tommy was like on the front lines manning the command.
It was hard carrying.
And I'm pretty sure, like canonically in the game, Tommy takes off first.
Yes.
For Joel.
Yeah.
So like now in this situation, if Tommy takes off, it's like, well, fucking A. And like they already didn't have Ellie and Dina. And like, yes, they would be useful, but like fucking Tommy he's like the fucking like co-leader of Jackson. So
Yeah. And this is my thing. Like, I will recant my statements of this if they don't have Tommy leave next episode. That'll be a bad decision in my book. I don't think they would do that, but like if they did have Tommy stay because now he has a kid in the game, he didn't have a kid.
I think that's going to be Maria's deeper motivation of getting Tommy back. Not just because like, he's such a good leader, Jackson, and he's my husband, but like he has a fucking son and he can't grow up without his father.
Yeah. So I really want Tommy to leave. I think that's critical to the story, especially at the end when Tommy's like berating Ellie to go back again to kill Abby. It's like I really want Tommy to leave. If he doesn't leave, I have to think of another. Either I'm going to criticize it to all hell, or I'm just going to be like, okay, maybe the show can give me a reason for why he's not leaving either. But like that's in the back of my mind. That's in the back of my mind. I still do think Tommy's leaving, but. And on top of that, if Tommy does still leave, and they had this apocalyptic event happen against the clickers and stuff, it makes it increasingly more compelling. Like you're saying, it's like he has a kid. Jackson's in ruins. How do we rebuild? But for Tommy, it's like, I wasn't there. I had to be a leader to Jackson while my brother was getting beat to death. And I couldn't do anything.
And that's probably
because I was saving my... It's the same thing, right? In the game, he couldn't do anything because he was knocked out. He was hit in the eye twice with the gun and knocked out. He couldn't do anything. He feels defenseless in the game. That's why he has to go on a rampage. For the show, he feels defenseless because he had to save his city over saving his brother, and that tug of war is what's going to drive him.
I think that's probably even like greater mode. I mean, it is great motivation. Like I watched, my brother died in front of me. I didn't even get to like do anything to help him. But being here is like I literally. I had no connection in the situation this time. Like I was pulled away and I wasn't there for him then, and I need to stick up for him now. In essence. So there's that mix, him running off, and then like both the city and Maria losing Tommy, that's an issue, which is a cause to send Ellie and Dina out against Maria's wishes as well. Also interesting for the perspective of the town, because you could probably assume with how involved Joel was with Maria and stuff in the town, it's just like, well, fuck, if Tommy runs off, like at least we would have Joel, but we don't.
Joel was locking in. He was putting in hours in episode 1. Like he was kind of like their engineer. He was doing stuff that he was doing in pre-apocalypse. He was helping out electronically and keeping the town in order.
And we know by the amount of favored things left at Joel's house that we know how loved he was by the community. So to have like a double Miller Brothers loss to the town would be like, oh well, fucking it, we can't go on without them. Come on,
that's gonna be big. So I do like strengthening the city of Jackson. It's important because important, and towards the end game, even though Ellie and Dina do live off on their own. Towards the end of part 2, act 3, Ellie towards the end of the game loses Dina. She goes back to Jackson, presumably, while Ellie walks potentially back to Jackson. Her last actions ever as a character is her walking to Jackson, maybe to go find Dina. We don't know. But Jackson is such it's a pool. It's always going to be there. It's a heart. It's a focus for these characters, Ellie and Dina and Tommy. Like it's always like a safe haven. For a place that's so apocalyptic, Jackson's always going to be a safe haven. And for the show to showcase how vulnerable it could be now with the destruction that has been wrecked, it just makes it all the more compelling and interesting. I was locked into the action. I thought it was very fun and engaging. I liked it a lot.
It gave me a sense of the game.
Exactly. And, the gamers are like, I don't care. Could we know Tommy's going to live? But, like, even
it's never about just like, yo, little big, but it's the experience you live through.
Yeah, it's
It's how it
experience.
changes the perspective of the character.
1000%, man. And I think it's gonna change Tommy big time, especially because what he lost and he was so close to dying. I thought it was
Yeah.
riveting stuff. It was just like him versus the bloater was so cool.
Yeah.
I
It was
really had a good time with it.
it was genuine, like worrisome. Hell, I was even watching people who had played the games who were just like, are they changing stuff? I'm actually worried for Tommy in this scene.
Yeah, it was interesting. I really liked it a lot. Again, it was just super compelling and interesting and fun. Seeing like this, and I know some criticism might be saying like they're trying to get their Game of Thrones action on. I don't think that crossed their minds. They have to do a Game of Thrones thing because I think people are just institutionalized to remind themselves of Game of Thrones in big battles. But like
they
no,
didn't invent big battle. I guess like
it
it's
didn't.
on HBO and it's snowing. Like
Yeah, right. No, I think Game of Thrones. I mean, I think Last of Us invites big battles. I didn't hear this many complaints in episode 5 of season 1 with the
yeah,
uh Henry and Sam storyline at the end of episode
yeah.
5 when they started ravaging. But that's because the games did it too. But like just because the games do it and the show doesn't mean that like you know.
I saw Edgar's
I
tweet, where he was like, I just find going up closely with a sword a lot more compelling than a bunch of guns, and I was like, it's a correlation. What are you talking about?
yeah, exactly. I think it's I disagree with that as well. Yeah, I can't wait to talk to Edgar about that as well. I forgot he said that.
But yeah, the fact of the matter is,
I was like, if you're not compelled by it, that's fine. But,
yeah.
but what I'm saying for me though is that like I think it was such an interesting dichotomy. Well, it's both fun and like savage seeing the wreckage that these clickers, this apocalypse can actually cause. Because again, that was somehow a complaint for some people with season 1, where they're like, we didn't get enough clickers. Now that they give us clickers, people are like, oh, that's too much. It's like, okay, gosh,
Stop.
So like, remember when that a complaint in season 1 was like, we didn't get enough clickers.
Yeah, it wasn't enough clickers, not enough action.
Yeah, not enough action.
Not enough feeling like this is an action game. Where's my action?
Yeah, where's my like life?
Where's my grab a ladder?
Yeah. So I didn't mind getting the big over the top craziness because that's probably what we'll get this season. I don't know if we'll get another thing like this. Ellie and Dina run into a lot of clickers in the subway tunnels. We've seen that in the trailers with the red lights and like the running. Right when they get into Seattle day 1. That's when Ellie reveals that like she can breathe in spores.
That's thing is like there's so many elements of action to be had that like there's so much elements of action in the game that isn't just clicker centric. There's other people within the world you're going against. Whether that's Wolf, Seraphites, fucking Abby, like everybody.
And I think the show's going to dive into that, as does the game. So it can do both, guys. But yeah, so I think centering on the Tommy thing or focusing on the Tommy thing, I think it does make Tommy more compelling if he still leaves, which I think he will. Because I think he's just going to be drawn to a more complicated scenario than even more so than the game. What the game does, it works, but what the show does, I think works strongly as well.
I agree. I forget what caused Jesse to go and run into Ellie later in the game.
I mean, nothing really. He just said he just followed Ellie and Dina. He just surprised visit. They didn't expect him to come, but he was following Ellie and Dina's coattails ever since they left. Didn't they leave without? Yeah, they didn't leave without permission, but like they said, like we're going anyways. Yeah. And Jesse was like struggling with it because if Jesse leaves, and like the whole town's in danger potentially. Yeah. But then he said, like, Joel meant a lot to me too. That's why I'm coming to help you out, Ellie. So
yeah. Again, spoilers for the game. Does Jesse ever find out that Dina's pregnant? I forget.
Man, I forget now. I think he. Oh shoot! I should know this. I think he doesn't. I think he doesn't.
I can't think.
No, he does. He does. Because when Jesse gets there, Dina's sick. Remember, like, Dina is sick since day 2. When Tommy and Ellie and Jesse are talking at the end of day 3, they're at the auditorium the next morning. The main reason to go back is because Dina is so sick. And because like Ellie just did a lot of bad things, and it's like it's time for her to go back. We couldn't get Abby, but Dina is sick. We got to get her back. She can give birth at any moment, kind of thing. So I think he does know. And that's when Abby shoots. Yes.
And if I had a nickel for every time Isabella Mersad is pregnancy sick around monsters, I would have 2 nickels.
Crazy that it happens, but yeah, that
That's
is
crazy.
true.
That said,
I hope
Isabella Mersad
I hope that stays as well.
I think so.
Because people were nervous that Mel wasn't pregnant, and people are nervous that Isabella.
I think she is just early.
Yeah, it's just early for both of them.
This journey is going to be months.
Yeah, so hopefully they stick with that. Both Mel and Dina being pregnant. Yeah, I think that works for their storyline.
I really love the characterization, everybody. I think Isabella's doing phenomenal as Dina.
Phenomenal job, man. I think she was the bright spot of episode 1. I think episode 1, the big takeaway was Isabella. Episode 2 was Caitlin, and Bella. But like Isabella was just phenomenal with her chemistry with Bella in episode 1. I absolutely loved it.
I'm watching the dance and I'm just like, this is amazing. It's perfect.
This is great. And I was so captivated by it, but I forgot that we didn't get the dance till later on in the game. I forgot the game dance sequence comes in. I forget when. I think it's like Ellie day 2. I think when she's thinking about like her connections to Dina and like and Joel specifically. But it comes later in the game. The whole dance sequence. But I think it fits getting it here. The show is reminding us about like why Ellie and Joel have that friction. That friction is like a big centerpiece of this episode. They don't get along. What happens? And I think it's important for audiences to get informed on what's like a little bit of information on like what's going on between Ellie and Joel. We don't get that information until the porch scene, obviously, and like we know that Joel did kill all the fireflies. We don't know that Ellie knows that yet. We don't know, like, if you're a show watcher, you don't know why Ellie is so upset, overly upset. But getting the dance scene now, it just further cements their divide in episode 1, which makes his death in episode 2 hurt even more. But also, the dance was just a great way to showcase Dina and Ellie's chemistry. They are so good together. They're so sweet. It's romantic. It's great. Everything about it. I just loved it. I love the adaptation of that. Phenomenal. It was just so great seeing Bella and Isabella work together on screen. They have such great chemistry. But especially for Dina, I like that she has a connection to Joel. That was a surprising thing here, where Joel reveals in his therapy session, which we'll get into, that like he thinks of Dina as like his daughter as well. And then they have like just a good, solid father-daughter relationship in that first scene when she's like seeing him like tinker with some things. Like really great chemistry that I did not see coming. It was one of the first instances of being blown away by Isabella's performance because she was just so good with Joel there. Like that was a very fun dynamic, and it elevates Dina's need for revenge alongside Ellie in episode 3 and moving forward. Because she's not there just to support Ellie. She's there to support herself, who she lost a father figure as well.
Totally. And it definitely like boosts up the idea of like why Joel would pick Dina to go out on this run, because Tommy's busy with the town hall. And again, he wants to let Ellie sleep in, so he goes with Dina. It's like, safe bet, we'll be good. Just another day. Here we go.
Yeah, it feels natural that Joel would pick Dina in this situation because again, they've developed a close connection, and in the show, Tommy's leadership over the town is more. How do I describe it? It's more upfront than in the game. In the game, we know Tommy's leader, but we don't actually see him being a leader because again, guys, you're playing a game. You're playing as Ellie and Joel. You're not really seeing a lot of other characters like Tommy. What you can do in a show, contrary to that, is see instances of Tommy being a leader. See these council not town hall, but like council meetings that we didn't get at all in the games because they want to emphasize the structure of Jackson. They want to emphasize Tommy's leadership of Jackson alongside Maria. just prioritizing his political priorities in relation to like his family priorities.
Yeah.
So I like that a lot. So it made sense that they did the big change of Dina being with Joel instead of Joel being with Tommy. I will say one criticism for episode 2 is that we didn't get the Joel and Dina weed scene. It was a great bonding scene in the game. It was romantic in the game. I think that's when they get their next kiss is on the couch when they're smoking weed together. With a lot of their clothes off. That was a very great scene.
That's
and then
you
Jesse,
could totally.
That's when Jesse interrupts him. He's like, "Oh, what's going on here?" Like that was very funny.
Very true. Even then, I feel like you could probably still get a similar scene because Ellie did pack some weed.
She did.
The place.
She did pack a lot of weed. You could definitely retroactively do that for sure.
Yeah, they might end up blending a scene. I don't think it's going to be like. I think there'll be like multiple moments of endearing things throughout the journey that Ellie and Dean are going to be on. They're going to be going through the weed scene. They'll have the guitar scene, which is I can't believe that's fucking optional in the game.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I don't think I ever missed it, but yeah,
me either. Because I'm so like I have to fucking click everything.
Yeah, I'm always exploring, and it was just such a beautiful scene. And yeah, like I can't. I do think that we could retroactively get that because they did get the weed, but in general, I think we're just in for even more Ellie and Dina scenes as we move forward. I know some showrunners, some writers said that like they look forward to seeing exploring more of Ellie and Dina's chemistry, and throughout this season. So I'm excited to see what goes on there. But yeah, I do love Dina and Joel's relationship a lot in episode 1. Also, episode 1, we get the porch scene almost. It's alluded to in episode 2. Episode 1, we see her. She in the game. We don't even get the tease of the porch at all. It's just straight porch as Ellie is drowning Abby in the last minutes of the game. This is, guys, and I don't mean I'm not over hyping this. I'm not doing a hyperbole, but the Ellie and Joel porch scene is my favorite scene in the series. It's one of my favorite scenes in gaming history. I cried like a baby when it first happened, when I was just like witnessing Peak for the first time. I would never forget it. I was just like, because it's crazy because it's a thing where I was like hoping for throughout the entire Abby storyline. I was like, I need closure. My heart just needs it. It needs it. And for Neil to just give it to me at the last second surprised me and elevated me to no degree. It is so important. That being said, I hope they save it for season 3 and they don't put it in season 2. If they have that restraint, that'd be good. If they don't, if they just make it for if they put it in season 2, I think I will criticize it. But I'll just have to wait and see how they execute it. But for now, I think it's smarter to wait. But I can also see the dilemma being like we alluded to it early now. Let's put the bow on it in season 2 and make season 3 about Abby. But at the same time, like I don't know.
I think they'll trail the line of complexity with how Ellie's feeling. Like I think they'll do the flashback of finding out what he did about the Fireflies. And I think we'll probably balance it with the museum flashback.
Yes.
And I think those will be serviced for this season, and then next season I think those. And what I think they'll also do, to deepen your fucking heartstrings even more when they do the porch scene. I think they may do a combination of the porch scene and then also the scene of Joel singing to Ellie on the guitar that they didn't have. And I think they may have they'll have the talk. He'll play that song, and that'll be the final memory with Joel.
That'd be great. I would have loved that. I forgot they skipped that the Joel singing to Ellie.
Yeah, he comes in and he notices the strings are out of tune, so he takes it to tune. They don't really get a chance to speak.
They don't get a chance to speak in the game or in the show. But didn't he sing to her in the game?
He did for sure. And Ellie's like,
and that was before.
She's not super receptive, but she is also kind of is because it is Joel.
Yeah. So yeah, I do remember that. So yeah, that would be phenomenal. Because yeah, part of my thing is like for a season of TV, I could see them like putting that port scene to bow for season 2. But again, hopefully they have restraint. But I like that they teased it, like they walked past each other, and then in episode 2 is just alluded to. Like Jesse's like, I thought y'all weren't good. It's like, well, we had a talk. I'm like, whew, okay, so it did happen. It's still there, obviously. But we'll have to see if they have restraint or not. We'll have to wait and see. So yeah, that was a great part of episode 1. I just love again, I think Bella's really good in this role, returning to this role as Ellie. She's fantastic. I'm skirting around Abby, that's a long discussion. But let me think. Is there anything else besides getting into the Abby prologue for episode 1?
They hit the Seth stuff.
The Seth stuff, yeah, that was with the date. Yeah, Seth is just as much as an asshole as he is in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which Ellie has like all the right to not accept this apology, by the way.
Yeah. I'm not taking a fucking sandwich. I'm good, buddy.
Yeah. I mean, I'll probably eat it, but I'm not gonna give you the satisfaction.
A steak sandwich, that better be hot.
It probably is. It's nice and bundled. Even so, it's like you're out in the fucking cold and you got like fucking steak sandwich. Holy shit.
That's true. Yeah. I never had a steak sandwich. I've had
it's like Philly cheesesteak or.
I mean, I had a Philly cheesesteak, but it looked like a normal sandwich with like the wheat bread with steak in it.
Well, I don't know. In the show here, it was fully wrapped. We didn't see it.
Yeah. But anyways. But yeah, I think let's finally dive into this.
Talk about it, you coward.
Abby's motivation.
Which, by the way,
oh man. Yes.
Caitlin Deaver's great.
Oh my gosh, guys.
She's great in playing both sides of the emotional turmoil, right? She's good at the anger. She's good at the vulnerability. She's good at like being a caring person to the people she cares about.
Abby?
Yeah, well, I mean, in the fact that she's like in the scenes where she's just chill and she's just like listening. I mean,
I still don't think she's caring, because she doesn't fuck with Mel still.
No, she's very like locked on to the mission.
Owen. But I think she does show vulnerability around Owen, which is smart.
Yeah,
showcased early on, obviously. I think her and the Owen actor. Owen is much taller in the show than in the game, and Abby is shorter than in the show than in the game. I think Caitlin's like 5'6", and Abby's a bit taller in the game and buffer, obviously. But yeah, let's get into the Abby and Abby. Show Abby, game Abby differences here, and how it correlates with Joel's death. A long discussion here, but I think the first thing I want to establish is that the motivation for Abby, the mystery on Abby's motivation, is not. Is not super important to understanding Joel's death. Getting Abby's motivation before Joel's death does not take away from Joel's death. I think that's where I want to start with first. Okay, I think Abby's motivation is important, but it doesn't automatically make the audience sympathize with her. I've seen some cases where people are like, "Oh wow, Joel killed as a gamer. We killed Abby's dad. Shit, I get it now." You can get it and still hate Abby. I think a lot of people in the world get why she did it, and they still don't like Abby. And that's a fair criticism. You don't have to like Abby, even after you do everything in the game. You don't have to like Abby at all. What the game is trying to tell you is that just like, there's a parallel journey happening between revenge and the lengths you go for revenge between Abby. And I think that's the main theme. At least, again, sorry, there's many themes. I don't want to say main and not main. There's many themes, but the mystery is not one of them. It's an important point to elevate it. I think the mystery is primarily paramount for a gaming experience. That's my big defense. The gaming experience lets you revel in the mystery because you can play Last of Us in the span of a weekend and come to slowly explore her motivation over the course of a game. Because Abby kills Joel, you're shocked, you're traveling to Seattle wondering why she did it. There's conversations of Dina being like, do you know who Abby is? Do you know why she would have done it? Does Joel have any enemies? And you're like, no, not that I can think of. But then the game hits you with like, oh shit. Right after Abby kills Jesse, you should have just stayed away. Cut to black. You're in Seattle, or you're in Utah, and you're like, wow, I'm playing as Abby, and Joel killed my dad. Wow, still don't like her. A lot of Abby's motivation, a lot of Abby's humanity is explored through Lev and Yara, not her motivations. I think that's what people are forgetting. Abby's humanity is explored through her relationships with the Salt Lake crew, which we'll get to later in the season 3, and Lev and Yara. That's where Abby's humanity is. Getting the motivation, while it is different, you can prefer getting the motivations later on in the game all you want, but it's not bad. It's not taking away from the structure of the season because we already know the structure has to be different. It just does. But getting Abby's motivation doesn't take away from anything that the show is offering for us. People are like, how many times does the villain say like, I'm going to kill Joel for doing this, and you're not going to be like, well, Joel had it coming to him. I think a lot of gamers, because I think if Abby's motivation was such a primary factor for Joel's death specifically, I think that's the big crux here. If that was the case, then reruns and replay throughs of Last of Us Part 2 would have no effect on us as gamers. Because we already know, guys, right? If what you're saying is true, if what people are saying is true, not you, Nathan, what people are saying is true in terms of like Abby's motivation, getting it up front, devalues the shock and the effectiveness of Joel's death, then subsequent playthroughs of the game would also have less effect on us as gamers. But it's not the case. I'm still super compelled by Joel's death. I'm still heartbroken every time I play the game. Guys, I played it like 7-8 times. I can't remember every minor detail, but like,
you're a sicko.
I know. I can't remember every minor detail, but like the effectiveness of Joel's death is still there, having already known Abby's entire journey. Because I'm just in Ellie's shoes. As a gamer, I'm walking down the hallway as a gamer, hearing Joel's, screams. As a gamer, The Last of Us, the motivation angle is a primary factor for the game. It allows for an incredible otherworldly experience when you're playing as Abby at the start, when you're in Utah, when you're in Jackson, and you're like, what is going on here? What's the mystery here? What does she want to do here? She sees Joel. Okay, cool. I don't get a good vibe, but then boom, she kills Joel. Like playing as her and discovering the reason why she did it is part of the gaming experience. It's hard to replicate that. In the show, it's doubling down on Joel's predicament. I think that's the main thing. Abby's motivation about what Joel did in the season finale of season 1 connects sharply with what Joel is dealing with in episode 1 as well. Like the hard episode 1 is dealing with what the main lie. That's why the first scene of season 2 isn't, the horseback ride that we get in the game. In the game, the game starts off with Joel. You're playing as Joel. You're with Tommy. It's the sunset. You're thinking you're going to play as Joel the whole game, but it's not the case. Season 2 is different. You start off with the last words Joel says to Ellie in season 1. I promise. Is everything you said to me true? I promise. Cut to Abby and the Salt Lake crew, and you're like you're getting the lie on top of Joel's actions and what that calls for Abby. I'm going to kill Joel. Cut to happy-go-lucky Jackson drama, whatever. The show is just telling us, Maisie and Neil are telling us, okay, we're going to give you the motivation up front, but that's because we want to dive into the effect of Joel's lie, what it had on Ellie. That's why they're separated. We don't know that yet, but we kind of do. Actually, we do know that because even the therapist lady is like, "You're lying to me, Joel. You're not telling me why Ellie is truly upset with you. What did you do?" "I saved her." Like, that's what the show is drilling into our heads. That Joel is confident in his decision. He himself doesn't know why Ellie's not talking to him still.
Yeah.
Sorry, he does know why Ellie's not talking to him still, and he's lying to his therapist about like how to deal with it.
He's lying to himself.
Yeah, he's upset with himself. He's not telling her that like, "Hey, I lied about Ellie not having the cure. Ellie got mad at me. She hasn't been speaking to me for years. Therapist, help me out." He's not telling her that. He can't.
Yeah, and he's not like, it's like he did save her. That is the truth, but it's not the whole truth.
It's not the whole truth. It's not the truth from Ellie's perspective. I think that's what the therapist would tell him, but he doesn't want to hear that from the therapist. He wants to validate his own actions. That's why he's omitting certain actions.
It's also a very awkward situation that your therapist is, you killed her husband. Like, you had to because he was infected.
For some reasons. Yeah. I would love to get the Eugene. That's also going to be a critical flashback moment. Because we are going to get the Eugene flashback. Because in the trailer, you see Joel and Ellie like walking behind somebody. Because Ellie knows what happened. Because when Jesse's talking about it, she's like, "Yeah, that was weird."
Well, I think that was more like a bit of a reflectiveness of like, you go so long living, and then that's just how you take out. There's like no way to save him, and then she has to sit with the fact that like she maybe could have if she gave her life.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that. That's a good point too. But I do think there's more to the story than what Jesse knows, because Jesse wasn't there. Ellie was. So I think there's more. Maybe Eugene wasn't bitten. Maybe something different happened. We don't know. But yeah. So again, the show is like showcasing like the repercussions of Joel's actions, what it had on Ellie, what it had on himself, and especially what it had on Abby, the person that does the murder. I think it just elevates Abby's, it elevates her arc and her parallel journey with Ellie, and what Ellie goes through. I think that's what the main crux of the game is. The main crux of the game is getting that parallel journey of love, loss, and revenge. Those three things, and the lengths you'll go through for love, the lengths you'll go through for how you act upon loss, and how far you will go for revenge. Those are the three things that you're going to act on in part two in different ways. The beauty of part two is that like Abby got her revenge. Joel's gone. What next, Abby? And that's her arc. What's next? Ellie's now experiencing the loss at 19. The parallel begins. They both lost at 19. And then now, how will Ellie do that? Oh, she's going to follow the same suit as Abby. What a surprise. Like, she's going to follow the same suit as Abby. She's going to go look for Abby, like Abby looked for Joel. And she's going to go out for revenge and kill people along the way. And it's going to be a dark and emotional journey, but that's the main theme of the game. And that's why I don't mind getting the motivation, because it doesn't take away from the parallel journey that Abby and Ellie are getting. And also, it just makes for an incredible use of Caitlin Deaver's talents as one of the best up-and-coming actresses. Not even up-and-coming. She's just a solidified actress at this point. Yeah. Like, we're getting great Caitlin Deaver work. And I'll go into it more, but yeah, I've been spieling. What do you think, Nathan, there? Like, I just think the whole motivation angle is so oddly out of context. I think, again, you can prefer getting the motivations built to you later on in the game. But for me, that was just never going to happen. Sorry to interrupt you again, Nathan. But, like, the game, you play all through Abby, or all through Ellie. Cut to black. Then you get Abby. If the show was to do that, cut to black at the end of season 2 finale, us still not knowing what happened with Joel, that could work. But then now you have to wait till 2027.
Yeah, it might.
Like, yeah, come on, guys.
I think there's that. Also, it's good. No, I'm kidding. It's good. I think there's an element to that. I think there is also like a fair element to the non-gamer and just viewer of, if you put it in the context that you're playing the game, right? It's like you just went through all that shit. You just, things went down at the theater. It's like, oh fuck, and like now you are forced as a player to progress your story by playing Abby, and like you have to experience it. You can't jump it. You can't skip it. if they were just
edit to a different scene or whatever.
Yeah, and even as like a viewer, if there was just like this is a whole Abby episode, somebody'd be like, "Fuck it, I'm skipping. I don't like her." The game is like, no, you physically cannot find out what happens to Ellie unless you fucking like look it up. You have to play. You have to keep going, and as you're playing, you're like, whether you start to care about Abby or not, at least you do understand her motivations and the situation. Here, I think it does give you a benefit to have both of the clear motivations of Ellie and Abby as their journeys are going, and allowing the parallels of their journey to sync up with one another in combinations of multiple flashbacks. I mean, they're already like doing like a very like clean versions of flashbacks for both of them, because our first introduction to Abby is like she's having the dream sequence of she's talking to her younger self as she's about to find what's inside the hospital.
You mentioned that was brilliant. The way they, I arguably, I don't want to say it's better than a game, but like preference wise, I always love, you know me, I love the supernatural weird shit. 2 Abbies, that's weird. Love it. Love it.
I also commend that. I do genuinely like see the difference of Caitlin in both of those positions. Like physically, like she does look like an older, weathered Abby trying to warn her younger self, "Don't go in there." His brains are on the floor. Don't do it. The way
Abby is punched in her discovery phase, her younger phase, while the other Abby is still sad, but like resolute and like don't do it. Like they're both sad, but the way they are processing it is way different. It was very good.
Yeah, it's almost like she's trying to stop the pain that she's living with. Yes. It was great. I also see people posting the ending of Ellie walking into the cabin with the same quotes like, "Don't go in there. His brains are on the floor. Don't do it." I'm like, don't do this to me. But
it'd be really interesting if they do that. I would like that. Yeah,
totally. So yeah, in terms of motivation, I think it's fine. I think because I mean, if you're just like watching the whole time of just like we must get Joel's killer, we must have revenge, and then but I guess that is also like a perspective of the game that is a benefit of like you having that same desire for revenge that Ellie does, even though it eats away at you in a negative sense, and then you get the revelation of like, but you realize like what you did and like what you took from this person, and this is just one person. Joel killed a lot of people. So
yeah. I agree. And it's such a hard thing to replicate. The gaming experience is such a hard thing to replicate. I think people need to understand that with adaptations. That's why a lot of good adaptations are like not 1-for-1. Like you get your Fallout, which is not a 1-for-1 part of the game. Mm-hmm. Castlevania is very different. It allows for more people to come in with a more open experience. Because if you do get, shows like Last of Us, people think that you can just replicate emotional experiences. But for gaming, you just can't replicate the feeling of Joel dying, your hand on the controller, and you're playing as Ellie. You're both experiencing the same thing. For the show, I think we're dealing with it, but it's just hard because you're never going to remember or feel how you first felt. As gamers, we're all going to be like, "Dang, it hurt," but it doesn't hurt as much as the game. Well, yeah, because we've been through this. But I've seen a lot of people like, "Holy shit, this was crazy! I did not see that coming at all." And I think that's how most people will get it. Like this show doesn't get like a 98 on Rotten Tomatoes or a high rating on IMDb. IMDb of all people, IMDb is all full of like, I don't really trust IMDb, but for IMDb people to give it a 9.5 or higher, it goes to show how people were, most non-gamers or even gamers were receiving this. It's just so hard to replicate. And I think what the main issue people were having is that people are thinking the writers don't trust the audience. The writers don't trust the audience, so they're going to give all the motivation up front. No. They trust the audience. They're just showcasing it in a different way.
Yeah.
Right? They still haven't revealed to us the port scene. Like, the motivation isn't trusting the audience, right? Like, because there's nothing to trust them with. Like I think they're saying, like, they're not trusting us to hold in this anger. This mysterious, you can still have anger while still having the motivation. I think that's what people understand. You can still have the anger while understanding Abby's circumstances.
Yeah. I forget. I forget if this happened in the game, but was there a point where Abby was almost convinced to drop the mission to find Joel in the game? by
A
Owen?
little
Or...
bit, but by Owen when they're comfortable in their Seattle lifestyle. And one of the Abby flashbacks, Abby goes to the aquarium, stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
Owen is close to like just live life in the aquarium. You can just have fun here. He pushes her off the carousel. Like they're having a fun time. But at the end of the day, Abby's nightmares can't.
That's when she fucking runs into Tommy, isn't it?
No.
Is that later?
That's later. I was talking about an Abby flashback before they go on their journey to find Joel.
Yeah, no, that's
but yeah.
My brain with that. There's so much of that game. I only played through once, but
yeah, because like, again, people expect like the writers expect me to like Abby now that they give us her motivation. No, they don't. They just want you to see her point of view.
I would be really intrigued if somebody could do this. I don't. That would be so complicated. But if they could like program the game like a first time, like nobody's ever touched any Last of Us media whatsoever. And it's like I want you to play this, and they have. Narratively, this would probably be fucked, but to like play through all of Abby's stuff, get to the point of her experiencing Joel kills her father, and it's like, oh my god, this is fucking Joel guy, and then make you play the first Last of Us and experience Joel in this in the sense of like you've played through all the Last of Us and now you've lost Joel and now you're playing Abby, but like vice versa. What is the mental effect of? It is weird, and obviously it's weird because you had a whole first game without this antagonist. But like the idea of like, what if you were to explore this from this angle? Would you feel how you do against Abby as you do against Joel, or would you have? I don't know.
I think it'd be very different. But yeah, people forget like Abby's motivation is revealed in seconds when you get her storyline, because it's revealed in seconds because it's seconds to us, but like it's halfway through the game basically. But either way, you get it early on in Abby's storyline because it's not the point. It's her big reason, but the reason for Abby's character is how she processes it after killing Joel. So again, I just think the motivation aspect. The writers aren't expecting you to like Abby. They just want you to understand her, but you don't fully understand her until you get her storyline in season 3. I mean, that's just how the narrative works. You're getting bits and pieces. So yeah, let me see here. Because I bookmarked some other good takes. Let's see here. What I like, somebody mentioned this, and I really agree with this. Somebody said how to compensate for the lack of mystery and the lack of muscles around Abby, Caitlin Deaver did not get buffed up for this role. But I do like how much more, and this goes into a big part that we haven't talked about yet, just the overall execution of Joel's death, the speech angle, the monologue, a very divisive part, even for gamers alike. Gamers, non-gamers, they don't like the monologue. I really liked it. It's different from the game. As a person who played through Joel's death a lot, you know, Joel mentioned in the game, like, what, you don't have some whole big speech prepared, whatever. Like, he laughs it off, the aspect of her not having a speech. And then he gets beaten to death. In this show, Abby is able to execute that speech, but then Joel responds to it by saying, I'm tired of your bullshit, just kill me already. Like, it's a different version of events. Again, in the game, he says, like, oh, don't you have some speech prepared or whatever? And then Abby's like, I'm done with it, and just kills him. And starts beating him, whatever. In the show, it's much more like, I'm a revel in this. And I liked it. It makes Abby more sadistic, more
in the show.
Yes. In the show, she's much more like the whole handsome comment. I'll talk about in a second. The handsome comment, the monologue, like it makes her more sadistic, a verbose, a bigger, like what this guy saying online here. Like it makes her a bigger asshole. Like in the game, she's a brooding, she's laconic. But in the show, she's much more of like an a-hole who taunts, who just covers her anguish by making fun of like the handsome comment that she heard. And I heard some people don't like the handsome comment. I like it. She heard from people that she called that they called the killer of the entire Fireflies a handsome guy with a scar on his left eye. And she takes that to heart. How could the person that killed her family, her father, be this handsome person? Like how disgusting. So when she finally sees it, she's like, "Oh, you are some handsome person, and I'm gonna scar you. I'm gonna beat you the fuck up before I
Yeah.
kill you." Like she relishes and disfiguring Joel's face because that's why we see her punching him. We don't see her doing that in the game. We don't see her punching him ruthlessly in the game.
Yeah.
Her
You don't even
doing that.
see. You don't even see it on screen, but like when they cut back, the golf club is broken in half. You
Yeah,
can only imagine that's happened from just the multiple hits and impact.
exactly.
Which
Like,
how far you must have gone in the beating for that to have happened.
yeah, it's really gnarly. So I like this version of Abby. Again, we're getting different versions of characters. We mentioned now season 1, Joel was a much more vulnerable character. In that one pivotal Tommy scene, we talks about how he's not fit for himself to carry Ellie, which Joel doesn't even utter those words in the game. He kind of just pushes Ellie onto Tommy. And the gamer knows that's like, oh, because he's getting too close to her. Yeah. But in the show, he just verbally says it out loud. And that might be, people might want the subtext, whatever. But I like that Joel is much more outwardly vulnerable, even going to therapy here in the show. But yeah, for the handsome comment, I just like how she internalized that one handsome positive comment, and she ravishes. She just rages against it. She tries to destroy it, as this person on Twitter says. It was a great take. It's what I immediately thought of as well. Just this person on Twitter just said it in a much more elegant way than I did. Because yeah, she's not attracted to Joel, but she like the thought of the exterior of this man being called good or handsome, she despises it. It doesn't match internally with this idea of this devil character that murdered upwards over 10 people, over 18 people, and her own father, who ruined the possible cure for humanity, like all this stuff. For him to be called handsome or whatever, she despises it, internalizes it. It's not that she actually thinks Joel is handsome, guys. Stop it.
Yeah. If anything, it's more of a reluctant admittance.
Yeah. So again, the other person said like her motivations are the most obvious thing in the world when we find them out. It's like, oh, boom, instantly makes sense. Yeah. But the journey she goes on, the choices she makes after her terrible Joel killing, are what makes Abby so compelling. Everything that makes Abby so compelling is outside of her motivations for me. Again, the show isn't telling you. It's not holding your hand saying like, hopefully you like Abby now that we gave her motivation. Don't hate Abby, please. That's not what the show's telling you. You can hate Abby all you want. Ellie hates Abby. We're going to hate Abby. When Ellie's upset next week, we're going to be upset with Ellie because we hate what Abby did, obviously.
Yeah.
But they just want you to showcase like the parallel journey. And I keep saying that. That's like the biggest point there. You don't have to empathize with Abby. You just have to understand her decision.
Yeah. I think it's a testament to the storytelling that I know what Abby's going to do this episode. But as she's running away from all the infected, I am rooting for her to get away.
Yeah. That's what makes it so interesting. And as a gamer, you're the same way. As you're playing the game, you're like, oh, I'm not like, oh, this fence thing. It's like, like it's so hectic and crazy and intense.
The fence was insane. An insane. The whole sequence was phenomenal. I really, really enjoyed the execution of Abby going from the snow back to the lodge, and meeting Joel and everything. I thought that was all very well done. I was continuously screaming, "Please don't! Please don't go!"
He turns around and says, "Like I gotta go back to Tommy." The burning, like he dies not knowing if Tommy is still alive. Guys, that's an interesting take. That
he may think all of Jackson's gone, and
he dies not knowing if his brother or Jackson, his new nephew.
Honestly, if you walk up there and you see all the bodies of the infected on the ground, you may think it is gone.
Yeah.
It is a terrifying point of view. The fact that this is all happening in a blizzard and like nobody can reach anybody. And with the stuff with Abby, I really like the course of action of like the realization. I like that she gets saved. Then Dina calls out for Joel and she starts to put things together. And I love the shot when Joel's asking, "Are you good? Any bites?" And she immediately like realizes it's Joel, and she looks at the gun, and just real focused on it, and it just takes a beat, and she's like, "No, I'm fine." And he's not trying to hurt her, but that mental image, I'm sure, of like this is Joel. He's holding the gun. That's how he killed my father. and now he's standing before me, and we're in this panic, and it's like, oh, Blizzard's coming, what can we do? And she is like quick to think, like, oh, it's I can bottle him back in the cabin.
Yeah.
Just like the rapidness
See
of
head turn. Yeah. It was something I didn't expect, and it was something that I like seeing from Caitlyn there. Again, it's a different Abby already. It's a different Abby.
Yeah.
She's not jacked, but she's much more, again, sadistic and a much more like she did an evil monologue. I didn't expect it, but I liked it. If somebody killed my brother or my family member, I'm not just walking up to him, boom. No. Like I'm making you pay for hours on end. I'm doing what Fist did to Adam. I'm keeping you in prison. I am making sure your life is a living hell before I kill you.
For legal reasons, this is a joke.
This is a joke, guys. My family is fine. But
this is all on a Minecraft server.
Yes, exactly.
I do also love her desperation in a sense. Like when she's on horseback with Joel, and Joel's like, "Fuck it, I'm going. If I die, I die. I gotta get back to Jack." She's just like, but we have blankets and ammo. Like we're almost there. We're so close. It's just around the ridge. Like she's just putting everything out there. Just like you will want to just take a base camp real quick to reload and head back out. Like you're gonna want this, and the coldest feels so desperate. And Dina's there. I'm sure if Dina wasn't there, Joel would probably go for it. He'd probably be like, "Fuck it, take this horse." If there was a horse.
If Dina wasn't there, I think he would go for it as well.
Yeah,
to make it interesting.
But the fact that we are in this element, it's like, okay, well, fuck it. And even when he does get there, like within a few seconds of him just like trying to call out, he's like, "Hey, all right, we gotta load up, be ready in 3 minutes. We gotta go back out immediately." Joel's ready to get back out there. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately he stepped into the lines and it's about to happen.
Exactly. It's a pit of hell. I do think the game, the lighting of the darkness makes it much more compelling in the game, where it's just like you're in a pit of darkness and grimy, gloomy hell. Sure. The lighting here was more natural, but that's fine for me. Like it's much more natural. What would naturally happen? The game, similar to animation, right? We always talk about how animation is able to do unique things that are like otherworldly with lighting that you just can't do in a live action adaptation. I'm trying to think of.
Just look at like Gwen's universe and across.
Yes, exactly. Like right, like you could have the same conversation of Gwen talking to her dad, and it'll be emotional. You get Haley Steinfeld acting opposite whoever it is, like two actors acting and just an emotional, and it would work. Yeah. But in the animation, you're able to do otherworldly lighting that elevates it to new heights.
You have the different pastel colors. You have like the almost like paint stroke backgrounds and blurriness out of focus. Like all these different elements that are they're striking together.
Exactly. It's also why I say about like anime adaptations, where it's like adaptations, even outside of like fighting, is like it's so hard because like the anime is filled with such good lighting and such good and live action shows have been able to kill it with lighting across the board, and other stuff like Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul. Those shows are really good with that. But like in most instances, it's hard to replicate the gaming experience or the anime cartoon animation experience because they're able to do just otherworldly, unique things that just wouldn't make sense in this. You could have made it a bit darker in the show, yeah, sure. But the way that the way the game does it is also very difficult to adapt. Because like they're like snowed in at the bottom. They're not at the top like the show. So it's just.
I was impressed. I did feel like that cabin looked like one for one in the game.
Yeah, it was very, very close.
I guess I am almost like kind of relieved that maybe that scene wasn't dark because I have no idea how they're gonna, it's always 50-50 if you have good dark lighting, like lighting in the dark.
Exactly.
Because sometimes it's just like fuck.
Yeah, you can't really see what's going on there. Yeah, it's weird.
But but this was great stuff. I honestly really like Abby's, you said, like her menacing nature of like both. They ride up and it's like you're aware that like, this is Joel and it's like, hey, help him too. Make sure he will get him ready to be able to be aware of what's happening. Shoots him in the leg, tourniquet him. We're gonna make sure he is experiencing this pain as much as he can.
Yeah, and again, there's differences to what Abby does in the game to the show, and it makes me unbelievably like I was literally getting chills just thinking about Abby's season 3 storyline. Like holy shit, with the gift that is Caitlin Deaver, guys. Like, oh my god! Like, I'm so excited to see her get nearly executed by Seraphites. See her fight for her life. If they adapt like the hotel sequence, oh, that'd be really cool. Like,
Oh,
see her do like the Rat King hospital sequence. Like, oh my
yeah,
god.
that's probably next season.
Yeah, the 11 yard stuff. Oh my god! But I do think this is the last we see of Abby for the entire season until the finale.
Oh wow,
I think it is, right? Like,
I
we
don't
don't
know.
unless we do more new stuff. But having seen the trailer, everything we saw in the trailer for Abby is already done, and like in the game, it should just be we should just focus on Ellie's journey. And going after everything that Craig is saying, I think there's going to be no more intercutting. Because the reason that we were intercutting in the first place, again, just to reiterate, the reason we're intercutting more so in the beginning than in the game. Well, in the game, we also intercut. We play as Abby in the game as well. When we lure Joel into the trap, like we're still playing as Abby in that scenario, even when Joel saves us. So the show is following the gaming structure of intercutting at the beginning, but we also don't see Abby at all after the act. I think that's important. We should not see Abby until we get back to like how she's dealing with killing Joel, because it's just different. Which is why they're campaigning her as guest actress. I really hope they campaign her as guest actress, not supporting actor, because the White Lotus crew have that in lock. It's very hard. But like as a huge like award season buff, like I would love for her to be a guest actress. That way she can easily sweep. Like there's no competition at all right now. But anyways, yeah, I don't think this is gonna be the last week. I think this is, the last we see of Abby until the auditorium, which we might or might not get at the end. I don't know how they're gonna end the season. But having already killed Joel in episode 2, we have 3 through 7 to get through day 3, 3 days of Ellie. I think that's possible. We already see in the trailer we saw Jesse, so we get day 2 at least. We see her talking to Nora a little bit, or alluding to the Nora confrontation, which one of the writers for the show did say like Bella does some really dark stuff that she's excited for people to see. That's probably gonna be the Nora scene. How do they adapt that? Because we don't see Ellie beating up Nora. It's just like we see the shivers and the cold nature of it after the fact. That's gonna be fun. And then day 3 is all just like a lot of like the Hillcrest craziness, the boat scene and killing Mel and the whole pregnancy stuff.
That's her killing Mel after being aware of Dina's situation.
Yes, but she doesn't know that Mel is pregnant.
Right.
I hope they,
after.
I hope they do the reveal that Mel is pregnant. That's the dark reveal.
I think they will.
Yeah. What game is it where you kill a pregnant lady as a main character? Like
that one.
Yeah,
there's a lot of shit in that game, man. It's a big game. Dark.
The game is this part 2 is just a vicious game in general.
I mean, it probably isn't until like fucking season 4, but like, I know it's like such a big jump, but I really do look forward to like that final Ellie and Abby confrontation in the water at the boat.
But if that's season 4, guys, like, are we not getting the port scene until season 4?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's so interesting. I don't know.
I don't know how far we go, but just like I know, like it'll be fucking Caitlin Deaver gonna be sailing off, and Bella's gonna be sitting there in the water alone. They're gonna just execute so well.
I can't wait. But yeah, overall, I've liked these changes. I don't think the writers are expecting you to love Abby. I don't think they're expecting you to. They're not sugarcoating it or anything like that. Because again, it's less about her redemption, her motivations, and more about like seeing the possibility of Abby's redemption once you get to it. And people were still upset in the game. It's just crazy to me, Nathan, that like a lot of people upset at this, the whole motivation angle and the Joel's death sequence angle, as like their love of the game. I'm like, where were these Last of Us 2 lovers in 2020? Where were you guys? Because back then it was all about like, why am I playing as Abby? I still hate Abby. You're making me play as Abby is dumb. I don't play as Ellie for half the game. Stupid. That was the whole thing. And then killing Joel off obviously was a big thing. But now everybody's loving all those decisions. It's just crazy to me. But maybe it's like the prequel angle. People just have grown up and been like, okay, I love it now. Now, unfortunately, they're just using that as hatred. Yeah, using that as hatred against the show.
Find a balance. God damn it.
It is hard to balance. And I think, I mentioned like you just can't adapt it from the game. People are like, why can't you? Why can't you? I just think the structure of the game it's about structure and experience to end this whole conversation off. It's about structure and experience. Playing the game, given its structure, elevates the gaming experience. Playing as Abby is different from watching Abby.
Yeah. Even
it just is. That's why there's things called games and there's things called TV shows. Because playing a game is a different internal experience than watching a show. Playing the game, getting her motivation, then going into Abby's arc, that's a different experience.
Yeah. Even if you're if you're watching like a cutscene compilation, like Last of Us 2 full movie, and it's like all the cutscenes, like that's a whole different experience than like you being in between those cutscenes and then experiencing the gameplay and the adventure of like the struggles of what you go through there and like working through the events to get to the next thing. Like it's not to say like it's a reward, but like it really is like an earned sense of the story of like you're pushing. It's not like fucking like, all right, I watched a couple of the Phase 1 movies and I'm gonna go watch Infinity War. It's like that's not the fucking, you can't just do that. You got to like go through the shit. Again, we're talking video games, but that's what I mean is like you got to play through these events. You got to stealth through. You got to sneak through. You got to be that twinge of fear when you're trying to survive these clickers and things like that. All these different elements coming together. That when you get to the next reveal of the story, and you get like these character moments and these character reveals and all these different things, and then you're moving through, and it's like, all right, when we're going to get to that fulfilling moment of that character, we know we can get it. We just have to get through this situation, and then you go through that situation. And it's grueling gameplay, and then something unexpected happens in the gameplay. And now you've lost a character that was supposed to be a part of that ending. Now it's like, oh fuck, everything's all different. There's all these different things.
All these different things. And yeah, it's just things you can't replicate in a game. Because we only have 7 episodes. We know our limits in a season.
Yeah.
And if the show just ends in season 2, not knowing why Joel was killed, that could be effective. That could. But I like the screen that they took of just giving it to us right now, give us some motivation, and now it's a blank slate. Now, what happened with Abby? She just killed Abby, or she just killed Joel. Where does Abby go now? And then for Ellie, it's like, I need Ellie to get revenge on Abby. Those are still feelings some people might have. Not saying that all people have it, but like those are some people's feelings. I think the journeys that the characters go on are what's most important, not the motivation, not the mystery. The mystery isn't the theme. But I will say also, like, not a character not knowing the reason behind stuff is also very important as well. Like there's a lot of miscommunication in part 2 where Ellie or Joel is just not telling Ellie what happened. That miscommunication is crucial. But like Ellie not knowing what happened with Abby, that's still very important. And guess what, guys? Ellie still doesn't know. We know, but Ellie doesn't know. So it is a different experience, but what's important is what the characters are going through. And what the characters are going through is still that era of mystery. Ellie still has that era of mystery. Maybe because Dina says in the teaser, like, I know where they went. So maybe Dina tells Ellie about what Abby is. But even then, it's just like, I don't think the main moral is that like Ellie never really cares. Like Ellie could be like, or Abby could be like, I killed Joel because of what he did. Like even Nora's like, do you know what he did? Do you know what he did? And Ellie at this point is like, yeah, I was mad about him. I'm mad about it for him for 5 years. And what does she do, guys? She still kills Nora. She still wants to kill Abby. Like the mystery of like the motivation is not important for Ellie, for the audience. It's like, why are we hung up on that?
It's just, it's just the whole core.
The performance.
Yeah, amazing performances. And again, like we said, like the whole thing is like it's the darkness of revenge overtaking the character's souls. That's the big thing. Ellie's on that mission and basically becoming the worst parts of Joel because of what Abby did. Abby did that because of what Joel did.
Yeah.
And Joel did that by saving Ellie, probably as retribution against revenge against life itself for taking Sarah away from him at the jump.
Yeah. Love.
So,
What you do for the connections you have, and nobody's perfect in this universe at all.
It's an unfortunate reality in the storytelling that love teeters the line of both being something so incredibly powerful and beautiful, but also incredibly powerful in the sense of it being dangerous and what it will drive people to do.
Exactly. Great conversation, man. I'm trying to see if we have anything else to say. So yeah, I think these episodes are just so great. I think the big takeaway for me did. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I mean, we didn't really talk about the scene where Ellie does come in and see Joel, and that whole secret, like her experiencing Joel's killing, and
wow, thank you, Nathan.
She doesn't get knocked out.
We almost left this without saying that. Yes. Wow. This is different, and I like it. It's different, and I like it. I like it in the game, guys. I think it's perfect in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I also think it's really good in the show too for what they do here. In the game, what's so beautiful is that Ellie is screaming at Joel, "Get up, get up, get up," and he can't. He can't.
Right.
And Troy Baker's talked about it. Like, he can't get up. He just looks at her, and she understands. And he understands. It's a look, and that's what makes it so powerful and effective. For the game, cool. For the show, I like that he does. Like,
it's very small. Very
yells,
subtle.
and he just like he pushes up.
It's very little too. It's only like about like that much.
Yeah,
but
he tries.
You can see it. Yeah,
but he tries. And I think that goes to showcase the differences in these characters up to this point, where again, this Joel is much more vulnerable and emotional. This Ellie is much, just a similar Ellie. And it's just like he's able to, get this Herculean strength at the edge of death. That's just so powerful and moving. And Ellie not being knocked out allows for her to come to him and remove that thing out of his neck. That was also very new. Like in the game, he just gets blood with the golf club. In this one, the golf club is stabbed in his neck, kind of like, and just leaves it there. It kind of gets semi-biblical in a sense of, them just leaving Jesus there. And I'm not comparing Jesus to Joel at all. I'm just saying the essence of like killing somebody and just leaving it there.
So what you're saying is Joel will be risen.
Yes. It's the first thing that came to mind. I don't even
in 3 games.
Yeah, exactly. I don't even go to church. It's the first thing I just realized of a character just leaving somebody there. But yeah, it's just so powerful where you can just go to the character, just like remove it and just sit there on top of the body. It's so powerful. Bella's acting there is just so heartbreaking. I love the acting. She just like struggles. I wish Ellie was a little bit more beat up because I think Mason said like she doesn't know if she'll survive, and that's why like she's fine dying on top of Joel. Like that would hit more if they just beat up Ellie more. Sure. But she gets like jabbed in the stomach, hit in the face, and that's kind of it, in my opinion. I have to rewatch the episode, so maybe she gets beat up some more. But like, she's able to ride back home fine. In the game, it makes it seem like
she got kicked really fucking hard in the stomach by Joaquin, not Torres. The fuck, that's not his name. Danny Ramirez. Yeah. They took out the spit, which I'm fine with. I don't think we needed it.
I would have loved it. I'm also interested. Sure. They don't have Jordan in this. The Salt Lake crew is missing Jordan. Jordan is the kid with the hat on who is also on board with killing Joel, who Ellie kills Ellie kills Jordan, I think. Or is it Ellie or Tommy? But either way, Jordan is a character that dies early on in day 1, I think, from Ellie or Tommy. Because she gets hit with a knife or whatever. She's like she's tied behind her back in Seattle, and I think she kills. Yeah, I think she kills.
I think it's Ellie because she's doing like a move that she learned from Joel, which I think like they're probably gonna end up mirroring from season 1 when Ellie gets kidnapped by the cannibals and he's like digging into their leg and shit.
Yeah, exactly. So Jordan being gone here, it makes Manny. I saw some people complaining that Manny's a bit more meaner because Jordan is a meaner character than Manny, and I kind of don't like that as well. But I have to wait to see how Manny, because Manny is like, he's full on killing Joel. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
But also he's much more like a chill guy as well. So like, hopefully they remain that chill Manny exterior after the fact with Abby. Hopefully that sticks.
Yeah.
But yeah, seeing him here being so outwardly mean, that's very similar to Jordan and not similar to Manny. Kind of like I was like, oh, okay. But whatever. Like I'm able to a little bit ignore it. I just have to wait and see how the rest of Manny is portrayed, because I do like Manny a lot as a character. And when Tommy kills him, you're like, oh fuck, like wow, like I like this character even though he killed Joel, and now Tommy is killing him. It's like woo-wee. Anyways, yeah, just again the whole Ellie going on top of Joel was just powerful stuff. It's one of the more beautiful shots we've seen. Just that overhead ceiling shot of that.
Yeah, that it almost felt like it was like dipped forward.
Yeah,
it was very like unnatural, like world upside down element. And then the Ashley Johnson cover coming in.
Perfect. I didn't see it coming, but it just hit at the right moment for me.
I'm glad I had subtitles because it said the title by Ashley Johnson. I was like,
I was like, is that Ashley? Is that Ashley? Is that Ashley? Like you can instantly, yeah.
She's a very recognizable voice.
For sure. And yeah, I just thought it was a very powerful ending, seeing the carnage in Jackson, the death and decay with Ellie, and pulling the dead body of Joel. Like, wow. It was very moving. Very, very moving.
I was wondering too, like I was just looking at the shot of them on the horseback, and I was like, did they not bring his body? What? No, what?
Me too, yeah. I was shocked, but then they did it.
Yeah, seeing the dragon, it's like, oh man, I so look forward to the next episode to see how everybody's reeling from the reality.
Me too. I'll be on Tommy watch to see if Tommy leaves, and see what happened with Ellie. Because I think we're gonna be right there with us. It was such an emotional experience going through it, playing the game, going through everything in Joel's house for the first time. And it's just gonna be an emotional performance, and I can't wait to see what Bella does here. But yeah, 2 hours 20 minutes. We went long here, but we had to. There were other things that happened over the course of the past couple of weeks. They released a final Fantastic Four trailer. We didn't get a chance to watch it, but I really liked it. I think I kind of like the first one better. I don't know, but this is a great overall official trailer for the Fantastic Four. And
I like them. I like them both. I like this one quite a bit for the just the sense of the characters and their dynamics. With the reveal of the pregnancy, and I really love how Pedro's looking as Reed, and his demeanor, his sense of dread and responsibility to the public.
That's a big thing that the trailer here was all about responsibility to the public. These people idolize them. We love you, Fantastic Four, that they love them so much. And for that to be in danger, it kind of reminded me of what we were saying about Jackson, right? Like, you don't have to care about the people you don't know, like the people of Jackson. You don't have to care about the people you don't know, like this 1960s New York, but the characters do. And that's what's important. The characters internalize their responsibilities so much as celebrities that, like, this otherworldly figure that Reed might have invited here, oh shit. Like,
I love that bit, that he feels he may have pushed too far to the bounds of space and it's pushing back. I think my favorite shot is when he's looking at the I think it's called bassinet, whatever it is, that hangs above the crib, and those planets they're hanging above the crib, and it focused like him looking like as if, like, looking at the stars, looking to the future, the concern for not only saving his planet but the future of his child. These different elements. It's so exciting. We did get a little stretch feature. I think it looks good.
Yeah, it looks cool. Cool. We'll see. We'll see it in full in the movie, but so far so good. It's hard to make stretching look cool, guys. But it looks good. It looks good, really good.
It is funny. Every poster that's like leaking is like all them using their powers, and Reach just like
yeah, it's funny. But yeah, I love the casting has just been incredible. Nothing changes there. But yeah, I'm excited. I like the tone. The tone is really good.
I like the tone. I do like the look of Silver Surfer.
Oh yeah, surfing through the snowstorm. Oh yeah,
right.
Really cool.
Yeah, good stuff.
What else was? I think that was like the big event thing. The there's a Pacific Rim series in development at Amazon Prime. That's really
Oh
cool.
shit! Live action.
Live action, yeah.
Cool.
I would like to. Yeah, I would like to animate it a bit better, but actually, I don't think it clarified. But I think it said live action.
It is live action, and it is kind of like anime inspired anyway.
A Pacific Rim prequel series is moving forward at Prime Video. Eric Eisner, the writer of Arrival and Shadow and Bone, is writing this series. Yeah, it doesn't say it, but yeah, I assume it's going to be live action.
They should get Idris.
We are canceling the apocalypse.
Such good shit, man. I want to watch those. I still haven't seen the second one.
It's not good, but
I hear it, but even so.
Yeah, I assume it's live action. What else do they have to talk about here? Toy Story 5 is filming now officially. Awesome.
Yeah, I heard Jesse's the main focus, which is
focusing on Jesse. That's cool. I love Jesse, best character. Love her.
Makes sense after leaving her as the official sheriff last movie.
Yeah. What else here? Have you not seen Sinners yet?
Not yet. I'm trying to go see it by this weekend.
Okay, yeah. Next time we see it, we'll do a full review because I loved it. Favorite movie of the year. Spoiler alert.
Everyone's loving it. I'm dodging spoilers like the plague.
As you should. Yeah, good on you. The next Godzilla film by Takahashi, who made his way to Celebration. I missed seeing him. I was pissed. I was waiting in line at the panel. I wouldn't have understood what he's saying.
I was watching. I was like, oh, it is in Japanese.
I wouldn't have understood what he's saying, but just being in his presence would be really cool. But anyways, they confirmed the next Godzilla film is a direct follow-up to -1.
Nice.
So that's exciting. You know, following that scar that the wife got or the girlfriend.
Yeah, I was wondering, was there any update on an additional monster in the movie, or is that unconfirmed?
Unconfirmed. I haven't heard that. Yeah. They also have a stunt Oscar finally happening. That was revealed like 2 weeks ago. Stunt Oscar is finally happening. Great job. Finally.
Can't enact it immediately though, for some reason.
Yeah, it's wait till 2028, I think. So I think it's a 2028 ceremony. So I think it's for 2027 films.
Yeah,
it's weird. But the new rules
for Star Wars Starfighter gonna get
right. We also got new rules about the
voting.
You have to watch every film now. That was revealed this week, where there is no either watch all the films or you can't vote. Basically, you have to like fill out a form basically at the Academy. But you know, to be fair, this is a good measure. People can still lie, right? Like you can still say, "Oh yeah, I watched it right here."
I guess so, unless they have like clearance of people being like, "All right, tell me what it's about." Even if I don't even know, people could just read.
You can't really do that
page. This fucking goddamn. It's the bare minimum, man.
But you're right. It's the bare minimum. It's at least having them fill out something, which is because
at least vote for something you did see,
right? Because again, people still abstain from voting in regards to like animated movies. You can click abstain.
The stupidest guy, right?
Yeah, documentary you can click abstain. Like for other categories, you can click abstain. But people don't abstain from Best Picture because they want to vote for the favorite movie. Like that always happens. They don't abstain from the ones they don't care about, like animated or documentary or short. People abstain from the short films because they don't watch them. But again, for Best Picture, people don't really abstain from the biggest one because they want to have an impact on what wins Best Picture. They want their favorite movie to win, even if that means they didn't watch all the movies, which is why that's the big thing.
I don't know the number of Academy voters there are. Say you're on an average of like 500, right?
Yeah.
It should be like, all right, here we go. This is the nominees for everything. You now have to this point to pop on, log in what your vote is for these, prove you have watched it somehow, but like you have to like within the registry of the time, plug in an official full voted amount per each category for the individuals to fill in to officially have it move forward.
And that's the thing. That's why they do nominations early in like the first 3 weeks or third week in January, whatever. They do nominations, Oscar nominations. Then you have until March 15th, whatever, to watch all the movies. Like, or at least you have until you have at least a month. You have a month to watch 10 movies.
If I could watch the Best Pictures over 2 weekends in the theater, they can absolutely like
watch
just like
10 movies in a month.
Or like a film a day, or whatever.
If you haven't already seen the movies, because by January you have seen at least 6 out of 10, at least, or 7 out of 10, at least, to be generous.
Yeah.
Like you've seen most of them by January because they're mostly the year before films. So it's like, come on, guys. And if you're an Academy member, that's why they're saying you can just go on the Academy website, fill in your name, whatever, and then they'll give you the movie, and then that's how they log in that you watched it because you're watching it on the Academy website.
Yeah, that would be a good measure too. Just like, all right, yeah, your watch history has you logged
Yeah,
of it.
and
Yeah, cool.
that's what they're going to do. But they did say, like, if you had already seen, for example, if I saw Anora at the Venice Film Festival months ago, and now I'm voting for it, they don't know that I saw that. I could be lying, but you have to fill out where you saw it. So you go just click on, like, apparently you just click on Venice Film Festival. I saw Anora, bingo, and then I think they would like check your admission history or something. But either way, they are making sure that you went to said festival. They're making sure that you have watched the movie, which is good.
I feel like there needs to be like a solid like verification safeguard of like a minimum one sentence, right? What happened in this scene, and so that they can verify. Okay, yeah, no, he watched it. So they can't just be like a multiple choice, like random character C was my favorite. Like you can't. Don't just do that. Like it has to be something that you can actually like. Okay, yeah, they saw it, cool. Or if they just write bullshit of like, yeah, they were dancing in the strip club in Anora. It's like that's not fucking what this movie's about.
You just watch the trailer. So next week we're gonna talk about Sinners, Last of Us episode 2. And yeah, I went to the showcase, by the way, guys. It was the sneak peek showcase.
It was coming to me tomorrow. I was like, even because I was like even like looking at like other things I would want to go see. I was like, I may just like skip it. And I was reading that descriptor that was online. And I was like,
I saw that. I was like, that's just from one person. It could be lying, but I'm sitting there watching it, guys, and it was like ballerina trailer. I already saw it. Superman 5-minute trailer is the same one they released online.
Is it dead ass just like you're sitting there and it's just like the following has been approved to company's feature?
Yeah, like here's Lionsgate coming out 2025, and it's like
they do that.
Is
there a presenter? Like, is there any structural?
There's a presenter, and then they do a montage of clips. Presenter, montage of clips. Like,
here's Warner Brothers from CinemaCon of like people at the panel, or
no, it's just some random voiceover saying like, here's Lionsgate, and sneak peek was coming out from Lionsgate this year.
That sounds so weird.
You see, we already saw.
And then it's just like full commercial.
Yeah, it was just,
which I know it is, but like,
yeah. If you weren't in the movie game at all, like us, it might be good for you. But like, we've seen all this before, guys.
It is funny though, because you know, if you go somewhere like AMC, you're already getting like 25 minutes of trailers to watch as is, plus a whole movie. So it's like, let me just go watch a movie.
Exactly. But yeah, that's about it, guys. So yeah, next week, Sinners, if Nathan sees it. If not, cool. But yeah, we're talking about Last of Us episode 3. I'm gonna take more deeper notes, but having said that, I took no notes. We talked about it for an hour and a half. So that's the power of the show. It's just the show, contrary to what people are saying about Mason's writing. For me, at least, I think there's a lot of just interesting character beats and deeper layers that if people want to dive into it, you can find it. And I think that's what I love about the show. I loved season 1. I'm loving season 2. And this year for TV is just unreal. Because, you know, we both watched Andor. That was great. Last of Us is great. Severance, The Pit. Like, oh my God. TV is back, guys. Castlevania was this year. The Studio is great. I got to watch last week's episode or this week's episode. Anyways, that's about it. Find me on Twitter, Harris EV9, talking all things Survivor, anime. I'm on it. Andor, I love what's happening with Andor episodes 1 through 3. I'm talking about all things this week. I'm retweeting and talking about The Last of Us a lot. So even if you disagree with me, that's perfectly fine. Let's have a conversation. Tweet at me, Harris EV9. Let's go.
You can follow me _TimeBlazer, making a show called Time Blazer with co-star and creative consultant Evan Harris.
Playing Ben, who is in Time Blazer. I can't think of anything today. I'm tired. But playing Ben, who's a great character in Time Blazer. Everybody should go watch it when it comes out.
Absolutely. That being said, if you guys enjoy this, make sure you like button, subscribe, not already, ring the bell so you miss coverage on all things TV and film. And that being said, I hope you have a great day. Catch you guys next time. Press it again.